Howdy all. You can possibly tell by my very red face. I've been rushing around like mental to try and get ready for tonight. Whoa. That was busy. Howdy everyone, hope you're well. Spike's in the house, hello. So I've got the, I hope it pops up on here. There we go, it's popping up on the screen. So good, the chat is live, everyone is on. I'm kind of nicknaming this the Ping preview show. Hang on a minute, I've just got to get something out of my pocket. Keys, if not they'll irritate me, especially got a microphone in my pocket as well. Yeah, so I'm going to nickname this one the preview show for Ping, because obviously Ping have got 2 sets of irons coming out this week, and Thursday is the embargo day, and 4 o'clock UK time is the embargo time, which will be a fun one because, well, shall we say, loud and clear. Good, everyone's, mine's here, that's good. Carl's here, Ded's in the house, Neil's also, welcome everyone, and Spikesan, I'm actually here for 1 on time. 2 p.m. is not ideal in the US, but enjoy the info. Sorry, yeah, I know. It's like there's one of those things that when you're talking about, there's some people in Australia would like to join in, and of course the main part in America and also Europe as well. And it's a little bit of a, yeah, who do you please and who do you disservice and stuff like that. So the plan is, depending on how much we are talking about today, what kind of topics we're going into, how many people are joining in and stuff like that. This could be a live stream that goes on for a little while. So buckle in. So just get us whatever comments, questions and everything that you like. And also remember, for anyone who's just joining in, who are watching this one, maybe tomorrow or something like that, I've just done a new episode of From Stats to Strokes. So I've got a new question, episode 10 is out there. So make sure you go on the channel. I said Wednesday, 2 days time. Give 2 days before I do an answer video. So there you go, just so everyone knows. I understand and made it a priority this week. Ah, see, you're very kind. Thank you very much. Give Spikes a little bit of love in there. Right, cool. So I am 90% over the cold that I had last week. I firmly put it down to the fact that I've got a 4-year-old which obviously loves going to soft play and those kind of things, and so straight away brings back every single bug under the sun, of which, yeah, straight up for me. But yeah, whew. Yep, hot, as you can see by my glowing. I'm glowing. Right, so, oh, did you, Kyle? So, let's get on to this one straight away. Carl says, I got a set of Tacoma limited edition copper irons delivered today. Look awesome, can't wait to hit them tomorrow. No, you don't. Like, no, do not hit those. Great to have you on board. Yes, it is. So, wow. Again, I would love, if there was a way you could actually dump pictures onto YouTube, it would be brilliant. Then Carl, you have got me through Instagram, and there, if obviously there is a will, there's a way. Set number 24 of 100. There you go. That would have been a good one. Obviously 59 would have been a perfect one. There you go. But so it's 24 of 100. Is that it? That's all they done. Carl, look forward to hearing how they feel. Pictures, please. Yes. Bear in mind, Carl, so if you dump them through to me on my Instagram, I might be able to drag them off and upload them. It might be a bit of a messy production, but there you go. It's doable. Connor's in the house, been out of the loop. G730s replacing the 430s. No. The 430s of the genus are staying, and the 730s are adding. So today I cannot show you them. So I'm embargoed. I am not allowed to show you them in person. However, even a mate got you on in the background whilst doing the night shift. There you go. That will mean something to hardly anyone, but for one person in particular, A Special K, that will mean everything to you. There you go. There you go, A Special K got that one, so he'll be happy. He'll understand what that means. Right, so the 430s, the G430s are staying. They're staying for another, smiley face, another year. They're not going to be replaced until Q1 of 2025. Have an update from Ping on that one today. So the G430s are staying. That means the irons are staying, the woods are staying, everything's staying. Obviously, they've just released the 10K driver, and so that's going to stay for another year. So everything's staying for another year. They are, though, obviously including this G in the range. So B Fisher says, excited for the i730s. Oh, you won't be getting i730s. There'll be no such thing as, yeah, I reckon you'll get 730s. That's gonna take a while. We'll go i535 next. No, probably not. I don't know. It might be, I'm not sure, but it won't be for a while, obviously. We've got the G730s coming. That's on Thursday, and they are massive. Well, they are massive compared to the i530, definitely. I feel like Ping made everyone forget the 7s were still available as they took so long in their release interval. So the 710s have been discontinued for a while. They've been gone, the black-headed variety. I really did not like those. I'll see if I can find one. Can I find one on there? I can do something very quickly because I know I saw one today. So I'll just call it G710, and because I was been doing all of the editing for it and finished it all today. Has it in there? There it is. Yeah. So there we go. Right. So I will make it bigger. So it's, and there we go. Transition across. That's what the old 710s used to look like. The 700s were completely silver, and they did look, say, cleaner. There was less going on with the 7. They were much more of a bladed fat blade, really fat bladed look, and they made a god awful noise. They really did. So that was the 710s. They were the black variety. They made them in black after the 700s because yes, they are very confidence inspiring when you go down by the golf ball. It is massive. It looks like you could just close your eyes and swing. But there was a little bit of chit chat around the water cooler to say they were a touch too big. Now, of course, with size, generally speaking, comes the ease of understanding forgiveness, etc. And so changing them to a different color, black, does make them look smaller. And of course, when it comes to making them look smaller, it sort of makes other people happy to say they were obviously slightly too big, and of course it's still forgiven, etc. But these new ones are different. And so the good news is I cannot show you anything in real life. So the ones that you saw there were i525. I cannot show you the i530 in real life, and I cannot show you the G730 in real life. However, what I am allowed to show you is something that's available for every single individual on the planet to see. And Ping have, in the America side of things, not in Europe, not the Europe website of Ping, have not, I don't believe, has been updated yet, but in America, G730 and i530 is available. And we're going to go have a look at the information which is freely available on the internet for you guys to see. And we're going to talk about certain parts because I've already done the reviews, I've already done the editing for it, and I'm ready to upload. I haven't done the uploading yet. Obviously got 2 files to do. I've got the i530 and the G730. I'm not torn yet what to do. I don't know whether to do the i530 video first. Absolutely, I will, on the Thursday at 4 o'clock. But generally speaking, I try and stay away from doing a release on the same day because one will interfere with the other one, and it's all about views and it's all about algorithms and stuff like that. And so I never want one to interfere with the other one. The last time I did that was Mizuno launch in January. Yes, January, where I did a 2 o'clock release of preview of all of the Pro irons, 241, 243, 245, and then at 6 o'clock or so, half 6, I then popped out the Pro 245. So Yeah. So Carl said that he sent some pics. He has done. Let's see if I can do this on the interweb. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if I can. Not now. Messages. So obviously this is enthralling. You can still see me, but obviously, holy moly. Yeah, they look a little bit. Can I reply? No. Can I right click? Okay, so I might be able to go right click, save image as. Yes. Okay. So if I dump it all in this folder, oh, let's just have to do it the old-fashioned way, won't we? Okay, there. OBS. Here we go. Let's go to the live stream that we're here. This is all for everybody's enjoyment of watching. I don't know if I can do. There we go. Right click, save image as. Yes. Much quicker now. Right click, save image as. Yes. Yeah. Oh, look at that. I tell you what. Have you got them in a black shaft? So what shaft you got them in, Carl? Because they, yeah. Right, cool. That's now done. I'll get rid of that, and I don't want to get rid of that because obviously I want to show you guys later on, and then I will go. Can I do a media slideshow? Yes, I can. So slideshow 2, call it. Image files, add files. Oh my word. See, this is where you do this beforehand rather than doing it kind of on the fly, because again, it looks a little bit, shall we say, non-professional. Right, let's just go over the yeah, let's go over the actual chat. I'll try and stay out of the way. Right, you ready? Look at that. It'd be interesting to see what the shaft was. Of course, KBS Tour 130X PV black. There you go. So yeah, where we go. You can have a little look through the scrolly bits and pieces. I'm just left them on scroll, and I'll keep on there for a little bit. So Blue Collar says, thanks at Neil's. I've been here before on my Frugal Fix the Spike channel. Yes, yeah, you changed obviously when it comes to doing that. Neil says, that handle I remember. Welcome back then. Carl says, sent you some pictures of which we're looking at now. Blue Collar said, for Neil's moved golf and sim stuff all to this new channel was hurting my maker channel, or my the algorithm was killing me. Yeah, if anyone can work out the algorithm, good luck on that one. Carl says he's got it in the KBS Tour 130X, because Carl's a raw. He's a strong old ox for that one. And there you go. So we'll just pop that one back. Quite impressive there, Carl. Quite impressive. Colour look brass rather than copper. Could actually just be the camera. Carl, you'll be able to tell me. About sexy beasts. Yes, they are. They look, unfortunately, if they are like true proper, there you go, 2 words in one, copper, then it would be an absolute shame to physically hit them, because they're just lovely. Copper coloured. I've got a, in my display case, I've got a, obviously a limited edition set of head only MP20 copper heads. And I know no one's going to hit them ever. I have taken them out of the wrapper. Yes, I did take them out of the wrapper. So as what Carl says, yeah, sent you some pictures on Instagram. Oh, hang on, hang on, there we go. There's a little bit of a delay. Neil's actually said they are more copper in real life. Yeah, white balance probably confused. Yes, I would agree with that one. Unfortunately, the likes of these things here, they are not exactly what you call the greatest when it comes to taking real life colour pictures. I suppose that's why so many people colour grade stuff and stuff like that, because obviously, yeah, you getting stuff from this sometimes can be a little bit rubbish. So they do look a little bit brassy and orange, but again, I've got no doubt in real life they are true proper copper coloured and they would look lovely. Carl, don't hit them. Of course, you hit me if you want. You've got loads of stuff anyway. Not as bad as Golf Addict. Now, Golf Addict will be on, hopefully at one point, and he will be absolutely monumentally jealous if he sees that what Carl's got. Yes, look nice, but you wouldn't realistically take them on the course. Well, I think Kyle will. He will have great fun scratching them up. But golf clubs are designed to be used, aren't they? So there you go. Right. Wow. I don't know how much they cost, but it will be interesting to know how much they cost. So anyway, we go back. Let's go digress a little bit back to Ping and the G730 and the i530. Now, the G730, obviously there has been a little bit of a break. There was no such thing as G720, whatever they are. So we had G700, G710, no G720, and now we've got G730. Now, the interesting thing, the lofts have changed a little bit on G730. It is now down to 28 degrees for a 7.9. Again, this is freely available on the internet for you guys to see, so I'm not giving out any information which is going to get me in embargo trouble. 29 degrees for the i530. Now, again, guys that know me, no, I'm not a great fan of just cranking the living crap out of irons to make them go longer, because they will just go longer, yes, but you have to do some interesting work with the technology and the center of gravity of the heads, etc., to try and get that ball launching better, because if not, what you're going to find is you can crank the loft out of anything and it would just go in not as high. Obviously peak height doesn't go as high, and it comes into the green a lot shallower, and then you have no control the other ends. But these new golf clubs, especially i530, the i530 especially, is a miraculous little piece of kit. Carl says, I can't keep secrets. I can't open anything as soon as I buy them or not finish any food I open, so they're definitely going to get hit and probably have some toe marks. Just shy of £700 delivered. That's really good. That's really, really good, because if you then equate that to how much those copper MP20 heads were at one point, anyone remember? I want to say £2,500. It's either £2,500 or £3,500. I can't remember now, I'll be honest. Not sure. Enough. But that is actually not bad whatsoever. I will at least keep the 4-iron virgin. I'll tell you what you will be. No one hits the, well, say there's plenty of people who do hit 4-irons. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be as many people playing 4-irons as there are, unless they're playing like Seaside Links golf courses where like punching it really low, because effectively there's not much control with a 4-iron. Even at my speed, I'm having to swing and trying to hit it as high as I possibly can do to get it to come into a green with any form of control. So yeah, and that's at my speed. So generally speaking, people don't swing as fast as me, so then anything with 4-iron wise, they're going to go in like that kind of, yeah. There you go. So my 4-iron is big black Mizuno Pro Fly High. Yes, I haven't, well, no, I haven't got that yet, I must admit. So I have got a long list. I'm not quite sure if you guys, if I told you last time what, I told you about the Cleveland stuff. I'm not quite sure if I told you about what's coming from Mizuno, and I think it should actually be delivered by the end of this week, and it will be an interesting one. So let's go get the email, because I tried to be as best I can do, because I want to do a much more in-depth review, a proper review, because the samples have actually now just come through. They come through last week, but I haven't done them on the basis that they've given a 3 wood max and a 3 hybrid max. That is it. What I wanted to do, I'll be honest, I wanted to do a much more in-depth one. I wanted the 7 wood as well, 3, 5, 7 in the max. And I've also got the 3, 4 and 6 in the hybrid max. Because 6 hybrid, they do a 6 hybrid. The 6 hybrid is going to be an interesting golf club, because where before Mizuno really, unless you're talking about the hybrid fly high heads they had, or high flies, whatever they want to be called, they never really, people were finding they're having to go from long iron to the hybrids, and they were having to push it a little bit, because they didn't really do the hybrid obviously in a 6 hybrid. So the 5 was the most they could do and stuff like that. So especially for slower swing speed golfers, they were a little bit of a, what do I do? Now they make it in a 6, and that is very, very important for the likes of a lot of golfers. So I wanted to use that because I wanted to do the test with that as well, which I thought would be interesting for the everyday golfer. Right, so we've got Blue Collar says, what is your standard swing rate? I know demos come in D1, D2 normally over here. I haven't got one. I don't really care too much. I prefer, what do I prefer? I don't know. I use so many different golf clubs, I'll be honest, Spike. I use so many different golf clubs that I get so used to just hitting whatever's there. I have not necessarily got a swing. As long as I can feel the head, I don't care. As long as I can feel the head, I'm a happy bunny. That's all I need to do. Be able to close my eyes, swing, and know where the head is in 3D space. As long as I'm that, I'm fine. I can use, within reason, anything. Jason says my 7-iron is a ZX Mark II utility. That's a rocket. That thing is a rocket, that is. John says, what are your thoughts in the i210s? i210s, I love them. They were great. Now, they were, from what my own views anyway, they were a big jump over the i200s. I really like the i210s over the i200s. When it comes to the i230s, within reason, it is a small push. Where the i210s for the 200s, I thought it was a proper good shove in the right direction. When it comes to the i230, they're building on something which works just really well. So you don't want to, you want to be tweaking the recipe. You don't want to be throwing the recipe book out and then adding and completely doing different ingredients. So that very much so is just a little bit of a, yeah. But really, let's be honest, if you got i210s or i230s, if you've got i210s, would I rush out straight away to go get a set of i230s? No, not at all. If you've got i200s, it was different then, because I would say, yeah, because the i210s did give a certain amount, justifiable amount, that you could actually say, look, it is worth testing. With the i210s and i230s, I'll be honest, they are very, very good. When it comes to the i250s, or whenever it'll be, obviously I'm assuming 2025, that I would then think, again, looking at what the i250s, what you want to call them, will be, and see if it pushes the needle a bit more. But yeah, i210s are really very, very good iron. I love the fact that obviously ping, custom fit, crazy. If you've got weird lie angles, if you've got weird loft requirements, doesn't matter. They'll just go, bend them all around, job done, to your heart's content. Yes, they haven't got as many shaft options I would like. Ping, they do have obviously their own shafts that they make, especially in their wood side of things, and to a certain extent they do in their irons as well. But Ping could do with, in my own personal belief, having access to a few more shaft choices which are non-upchargeable. That's my own personal belief, view, from doing fitting and stuff like that with Ping a lot in the past. But yeah, thanks very much. No worries, John. Anytime whatsoever. Any other questions from anyone, by all means, just drop them in the old chat and I'll happily answer them for you. So yes, when it comes to the G730, should we do the G730 first or the i530? Up to you. So let's have a quick, hang on, wait, actually, hang on a second. We can do this. Let's start a poll. Let's start a poll. Let's start a poll. Let's start a poll. Which one to look at first? Right, ready? We're starting a poll. We've got a poll. There you go. Right, anyway, click on there, guys. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? And we'll chat about everything. Well, here we go. We're going crazy. No, we're not ending poll yet. Oh, it's got smaller. We'll look at the information in a sec. That was going so well then for a second. Oh, there we go. It's still going. There we go. Keep going. Go on. Oh, the i530 is winning. Have we got any more love for the G730? Can we get the G730 up? Or is it going to be unanimously Perry's in the house, evening all, finally made it after dropping Mini Ninja off. How is the Mini Ninja doing? Angelo's in the house. Hello, Angelo. Hope you're well. Kieran says, that's very true. Crazy how much my club has been adjusted. Yes, they do. They bend an awful lot. So when it comes to a ping, you can obviously go like maroon plus in one direction, and you can go extremely flat in the other direction as well. And yes, you'll find from a raw head, they'll bend it 5 or 6 up. Or a raw head, they'll bend it 4 or 5 flat. They will, I don't think they'll bend an already 5 flat to then 6 up. They won't do that. That's like basically doing this to a golf club and dink. They are cast, remember, but they're the only cast manufacturer, this is true, the only cast manufacturer still to this day that you can actually do that to a cast. Most, if not all, there we go, Alex, I am in in-house. In the house, yeah. Yeah. Did you see the Golf Addict? Did you see Kyle's copper Tacomos? If you didn't, I will put them on there in a second just for you, because I know you do love your golf porn. Shall we finish that? Have we got any more people going to be inputting that? 19 votes. We've still got people going in. Quickly, we're going to be finishing the poll, so make sure. For anyone out there who is the G730, wants the G730 first, get it in there quick. And of course, anyone who wants to see the i530 first before the G730, make sure you vote. If not, we might get a last minute spree and you may have to wait. You had me a golf on, yeah. All right, YouTube drink time, YTD. You can see it might be a long live stream. I've got a bigger drink. How stable are the pings at keeping Loft lie, given they are so malleable? But they're not. This is the interesting thing, Niels. The pings are amazing. Now, I've dealt with ping for many years, and this is massively different. Yeah, so Kyle has skipped ahead, you cheat, and has gone on the Americans website. We'll have a look at the Americans website, and so I'll get it up on there so you can actually see. But we'll have a look of what they've done with the wedges, etc. There's a reason why they've done that, and we have to be honest about how Ping have decided to utilize the lofts. But we will, again, if you want to see the G730 and explain what they've done with the wedges and the loft factors and stuff there, quickly get the old G730 on before this finishes. It was only 3 minutes old, this poll, and at the moment, I would fair to say, within reason, out of 10, 6 to 4. Not that much. Could go the other way. Big Mrs. says, fitted for the i525s just before these were announced. Now can't wait for their release. Okay, very, very quickly. If you have i525s, then I will be doing an i530 against an i525 video. So make sure, make sure that you subscribe and all that lot for the people that are literally just watching this, so you don't miss that one, because that will be an interesting video. Carl says, I'm not a cheat. We all know about 17.4 stainless steel heat treated faces. Yeah. So, 25 votes. If it gets to 30 votes, I'll finish it. And if they all go the way of G730, I'll tell you what, I'll get it to 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. I'll do the poll after 6 or 7 minutes, then I'll knock it on the head. So yeah, if you've got i525s, I wouldn't be rushing out straight away to go get the i530s. The i530s look different to the i525s, and so if you're someone, I mean, again, I'll do this on the basis of, sorry, Kieran, I'll use yours. Now, obviously these are sometime old now, so these are, as you can see, they're i525s, but the one you'll see, the big difference on the i530 as to the i525 is this toe height, this big, right? So I quite like the look of an i525 because, again, flick it over this way. Can you see the height of the toe? Yeah. Now this isn't the tallest toe in the world, but it's got a high-ish toe. Flick over that way, you probably see it a bit better. So you can see how the height of that toe is there. Now the i530 stubbier, is not as tall. And so it does, in my own head, makes it look a little bit hybridy. And I don't like it for that. I'll be honest, there's one thing on that. I do not like it for that. Angelo says, when do you expect the 525/530 video? Not sure. I do have other videos that I desperately need to do. Obviously, I had a week last week where, I'll be honest, I had a couple of jobs in the house to do. The wife, here we go, we can have a little bit of fun if you want. So over now, I've been busy doing YouTube now for the last, I don't know how long. And so there's certain jobs that I need to do. The wife has basically decreed that she wants certain things done, and I don't blame her whatsoever. Obviously, there's when we moved into the house 2 years ago now, just over 2 years ago, just a fraction over 2 years ago. Obviously, it was a mad rush getting everything done. YouTube took a massive step back within that time. That was, I think, it was, to be fair, the where the time was. It was the old i525 video. Yeah, that's how long ago it was. Done all the house bits and pieces, yeah, but there's obviously still things in the house that I need to make sure that I do. So last week I wasn't very well as well, so on Monday and Tuesday I wasn't great, I'll be honest, and I didn't really fancy standing in front of a camera, coughing and spluttering and having to edit all that out. And so I did some wallpapering. There you go. The wife likes a feature wall in the bedroom, and that one, so she has, there you go, wallpaper. Some people like it, some people don't. And then hang some lights and bits and pieces like that. I've got some electrics to do as well, because I dabble in the old electrics as well. Happy wife, happy life. Golf Addict says, is bang on with that one. Absolutely. So Neil says, Perry, sounds like you have proper protection in her when you are bringing her along. Hope you're doing okay when you're, yeah, it's with a little mini ninja, practice on you. That could be quite dangerous. Barry said, fatal mistake moving into a house before you finish all the jobs, or you get comfortable and put them off. Yeah, well, to be fair, I had to prioritize YouTube. So I got every single thing in the house done. And bear in mind, when I moved into the house that I am at now, I gutted it. I absolutely, completely gutted it. I knocked walls down. I took floorboards up. I ripped the bathrooms out completely to bare block work, and it was just crazy. Redone all the electrics, the storage tanks in the loft, all that lot came out, and I then had new water tank. Everything was just, the amount of stuff I done. Rewired the kitchen completely, put a new kitchen in. So much. There you go. Big Mister has subscribed to the channel. It works. I could probably make it a bit bigger, but there you go. But it works. There you go. And welcome me have along. And yeah, no, so I had so much to do, loads and loads, and I went crazy with the amount of stuff to do. But there's obviously certain things that are absolutely fine. House is absolutely livable. Last year I redone all my windows and stuff. I put all them in with the help of my father, and so I've been busy, and I've still got loads and loads to do this year. But so last week was a little bit weird, because obviously I didn't get much in the way of YouTube stuff done, because I had to obviously prioritize the G730 and i530 content, which took me probably 4 days in total to do. And I had my son this weekend as well, so didn't have any chance to do that. And so yeah, it's mental. Perry says she's got junior super speed sticks now. Oh, wow, that's good. Just hope I don't get away with it. Yes. Getting smacked in the ankle with one of those is no fun. It was good though. She's getting the speed up, which is brilliant. Right, so let's finish off the poll. Let's finish the poll off. There we go, end poll. We've had 32 votes, 9 minutes. It's about time we finish that. So as you can see, the winner is i530, 65% to 34%. So we'll do i530 first, and then we'll come over to G730. And well done, guys, because really that's the exact kind of route I wanted you to go. Because there is a interesting, and I'm not getting, I've got to be careful. Obviously, I can't say any performance stuff. I can't give you any numbers, and I can't give you any exact information. I can allude to the results for the information which I've already done, the videos which I've already edited and done. And there is a very interesting quality, we'll call it, of the i530. Excuse me, YouTube when he pops. John says, any thoughts on the, Tyler, oh, that's very kind of you, Tyler. I'll just finish this one with John. Any thoughts on the AWT shafts in ping irons? Yes, they're very, very good. They do a very, very good job. Ascending weight technology, it works very, very well. Only for golfers that need them. This is the only thing. So obviously that's Ping's own shaft, the AWTs. They work really well in certain golfers' hands. I would absolutely test them. The only issue that you can do, obviously, they're a shaft which is the same in 7 irons and stuff, but they do change in weight between that of the pitching wedge and then also, say, of the 4 and 5 iron stuff. So this is the only problem. You don't get to test that within the environment of a custom fit normally, because normally you generally only have AFS heads, which is difficult. But when I was doing coaching and custom fitting full time, I did have other golf clubs available with certain things in them so I could test. But you have to do it at the expense of the account. Ping will not give you that. Ping will do obviously the AFS, the custom fit stuff and all the shafts, etc. If I wanted to, and I had to, if I wanted to give my clients from custom fitting and coaching a better service and a better experience from situations such as this, then we had to go to the expense buying it in ourselves. I feel it was the right thing to do, absolutely, because it gives you a better experience and it gives you a much better understanding of when it will work or not, because again, a 7 iron, yeah. Tyler, let's go to Tyler. Thank you very, very much, Tyler. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Now, we're all giving Tyler a little bit of love there. Look, thank you very much. Anytime, anyone, thanks for all the great work you do. Really appreciate your transparency and advice. Honestly, Tyler, it is a pleasure, and thank you very, very much for though. Anytime anyone donates any money like that whatsoever to the channel, it is very heartfelt and warm, and thank you very, very much. I'm not just saying that. I see a lot of massive channels and they do certain things like this, and when they get these things that pop up, they don't spend any time whatsoever to say thank you, and they should do. There you go. So thank you very much, Tyler. It's very much appreciated. Mr. Big says, have you tested the S159s? Yes, I haven't reviewed them. Have I tested them? Yes. The reason why I didn't is because I had so much stuff to do. I'll be honest, obviously my reviews take ages. I'm not a general fan of doing wedge reviews, especially because wedge reviews and also putter reviews, let's be honest. If I did and do putter and wedge reviews, because of the nature of what they are, it's not like a 7 iron or an iron, a hybrid, a fairway wood, a driver. There is a job to do when it comes to a 7 iron. It goes a certain distance, a fairway wood goes a certain distance, a driver goes as far as it possibly can do, but it's also got forgiveness attached to it. You can compare, you can measure a driver, you can measure an iron of its forgiveness, its performance, what its tendencies are, etc. A wedge is absolutely different, and also a putter massively is different. Why? Because they're designed to do what you tell them to do from a very finite thing. And so whenever I do a review of a putter or a wedge, we're not reviewing the wedge or putter. You're reviewing me and my capability of using a wedge or a putter. And so there is very little subjective or objective testing to do with putters and wedges on the basis of you're just testing me. If I was to go and get the S159s and then take them to Flemington Golf Club and test them around the green, all it's really showing is my prowess around the green. That's it. Because again, it's difficult. Anyone who does reviews with wedges, apart from giving you the technical information about what they do, what they're constructed of, what bounce options they have, what grind options they have, which will then obviously be able to be fit into many different golfers, that kind of, I absolutely agree. Yeah, definitely that is as gold information. When it comes to how it's used, anything cinematic, that kind of side, you just ignore it, because let's be honest, you're testing the individual, not the physical product. Spike says, my son is doing demos for Mizuno here in the Carolina this season starting in a couple of weeks. He will have the whole fitting cart so I can test out all the 7 irons. Lol. Yeah, you'll be loving it. I mean, the thing is, at the moment, I've got a myriad of, yeah. So in here, there we go. I will just, so in here, obviously I've got heads galore, and of course you can see there's got heads. They're all the pro heads for the Mizuno. And then, I'm going to regret doing this because these are going to go every blooming where. And when it comes to the JPX, etc., as you can see, yeah, you got the picture. There you go. They're all there. Crazy, innit? Oh, cool. Ooh, you'll be having fun with those. Absolutely will. Right, so what we got? Big Mister says, makes sense, appreciate your candor always. Thank you very much. I will always be as honest as I possibly can do. Golf Alex says, curious on everyone's thoughts on lab putters, debating on the DF3. Lab putters are getting more and more traction as time goes on. Obviously marketing helps and stuff like that, and they will become bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously the more I'll say promotion, it's the wrong word, because the whole idea of any YouTube review should never be promotion. It should be, hopefully, giving the viewer an honest understanding of how something works, or doesn't, in the case of certain things. We'll get to the G730 in a sec. So Carl says, notice while not cheating that ping show the cut weight of the iron shaft tested of the raw weight, which is cool. Notice while not cheating, yeah, that ping show the cut weight of the iron shafts instead of the raw weight, which is cool. Oh, okay, didn't know that. John says, would you upgrade from Glide 4s to 159s if I required the bounce? Because they've got, I want to say something like 6 different grinds now. Something like ridiculous like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've got the big difference with the 159s over the glides is the options. The 159s, so okay, very, very quickly, the 159s over the glide. So remember we had the glide wedges, the Glide 4 wedges, and then we had like the pro one, which was ridiculously expensive, the forged wedge. Everyone loved it, blah, 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 but it was really expensive. Now, the S159s, that's all been dumped. And now we have got a S159 which is supposed to bridge the gap between the two, but at a price point which sits in between. That was the idea. And S159 obviously comes in 2 finishes. You've got the normal satin and also the black as well, the midnight, whatever it's called, and is promising at the moment to be quite popular because of the glare thing, even though you're not going to get any glare from that satin finish on it because it is very, very satin. But I can understand why people go the black because it does look quite nice. How long it will last, that will be a lovely little question of durability. We would have to see as time goes on that one. And when it comes to the S159s, it is purely on the specifications which you require when it comes to your fitting and what bounce options, what grind options, what loft, etc. All that. When it comes to these guys, remember, wedge fittings, for the vast majority of golfers, we are talking, because we're talking the fat part of the wedge, it's not a wedge, that's a triangle, but you kind of get the idea. The big bot at the bottom, most golfers, half golfers, don't really ever break in around 100. So when it comes to, we're talking about wedges and we're talking about grinds and bounces and stuff like that, a lot of golfers, if they just had the most bounce possible, they'd win. So we're not talking there's a certain portion of the golfing population that absolutely need wedge fitting, like properly. I would say a big portion of golfers, it's always handy to have a wedge fitting because understanding how you, but again, wedges are a little bit different to when it comes to custom fittings and irons. Doesn't matter what your handicap level is, getting custom for a set of irons and woods can be game changing for a lot of people. When it comes to wedges, bounce is by far the biggest thing. Getting the right lofts right, obviously for distance gaps, etc., but mainly bounce is the biggest one. We're not talking grinds for a high handicap golfer, generally speaking, because as a general rule, a high handicap golfer isn't like a short game guru and is going to be using twist and raising the handle and lowering the handle to utilize different grinds. But yeah. Neil says, Lab seems okay, but wow, they are expensive. Mr. says, Ping has a nice wedge fit online, but you have to be honest with this. I never do anything online, ever. No fitting online, ever. On anything. No way. It's painful. There is a, like, the Ping static fit. When I very first started custom fitting, I don't mind saying this, when I very first started custom fitting, I did the dynamic fit and static fit. And as time went on, really quickly, I worked out, and this is years and years and years ago, that, do you know what? That system, shocking. That doesn't work because of just how people are. You have different knuckles to floor, wrist to floor ratios, all this. Like, I get that. But then as soon as you put people in postures, as soon as you put people's in swing and how they utilize handle delivery and everything else like that, it goes out the window. And so dynamic fit is the only way forward. Only proper way forward, at least. But there you go. Markman says, 3-1 putts this Sunday with my Lab putter. Sadly, only one for a birdie. Best putter I've ever had was an Odyssey 2-ball for 12 years prior to this. A lot of people say the exact same thing. They really do. The Odyssey 2-ball is like a golfer's favourite over the years. The amount of people I've heard say the same. Min's in the house. Hello, Min. Hope you're well. Wedge shaft, same as iron versus usually heavy wedge shaft. Again, very much so the golfer. So I would say as a general rule, gap wedge, same as your iron. When it comes to your sand wedge and lob wedge, in between sand wedge, but definitely lob wedge, some portion of the golfing world gravitates to a slightly heavier shaft in their lob wedge or whatever wedge they use to play weird and wonderful shots around the green. And then another side of the golfing world doesn't really care. And this is the thing, so you have to get fit for it. Wedge fitting is by far the biggest, still at the moment, is the biggest part of fitting that really the golf industry needs to work on doing a much better job of. Because at the moment, the only way any manufacturer or at least any account, any retailer can do a proper wedge fit is if they spend an inordinate amount of money on buying demo equipment, hopefully at a demo rate, because again, these are going to get battered when it comes to wedges from a wedge fit, and then have all the options there, but then shaft options as well. And that, because these are fixed heads, at the moment, there is no one really utilising a properly good wedge fitting head like they are 7 irons, etc. Obviously, heads come off, shafts go in, screw back on, or Allen keys and stuff like that. There's no one really doing a properly good job with their wedges. And Titleist possibly at the moment win when it comes to their fitting ability when it comes to their wedges. But that's only really at a Titleist centre. I got to say, be safe all and be well. Everyone got to run some errands. It's minus 25 what? Celsius? Holy balls, Batman. That's blooming cold. Okay, so guess shorts is out of the answer. Oh, we're trying to... Holy moly. All right. Someone's winning the competition. Whoa, right. Okay. Right, so now we've done all the questions. Let's go on to the i530. Let's get rid of that, and then let's go, where's my capture of my window? Oh look, I've already had it on there. So I'm just about to disappear. Mine's now just gone freezy. Yes, it is. I'm now going to shut up when it comes to how cold it is. Where I am, obviously in the UK, it's around about 10 degrees, 8 degrees and stuff like that. I hate the cold. Absolutely hate the cold. It's 19, 20 degrees. And what temperature is it in here now? Let's just have a little look. What are we running at the moment? It's 23 degrees in here. Right, okay, bear in mind my air source heat pump is up in the air, so heat rises, so there's always going to be a certain amount of or whatever. But it's 23 degrees in here, and I have my hoodie on still. I love the warmth. I do not like the cold. So minus 25. Wow. Angela says, where are you? I think Golf Alex has literally frozen stiff on his keyboard. Neil says, at GolfNut, I keep feeling for you as a golfer in that corner of the world. Yes, not the corner. It's got to be the very top part. He's got to be over one of the blooming poles at minus 25. That's so cold. Anyway, right, so let's get on to the i530. I am going to be flicking over. It will go the entire size of the screen. So I will every so often pop back. Yeah. Can I? I'm just sort of wondering. I'm wondering, could I do that? I'll do that. I'll see if I can get away with this. Ready? So we've still got your chat on there, should you want to say, do whatever it is on there, but we're also going to have a look at this. Now, let's see what I can get this chat up on here and then move it across, just so I can keep an eye on your chat. So there we go. So we've got the i530, and you can see, hopefully, it moving on your screen. So we are talking about the difference I didn't like between the new i530, the toe height, the sole. You can see here is a stubby height. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. Again, they're doing it for if you desire compact blade style head and your primary goal is more distance. The i530 is engineered to blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can read that if you really want to. Now, I'm not a great fan of it. It's not to say that it's bad in any way, shape or form. It's just the fact that, again, everybody is different, and some people will love it, some people won't, but there you go. Right, so let's see what the technology is within this head. We'll screw down here. So it's got a forged face. Now, this is the fun thing about the classic forged world. It's got a forged face, but everything else is power driven. So the forged face, like our previous players' distance irons, design a forged, highly flexible Rajan steel C300 face. And guys, wrong one. I'll get over here. I just want to flick over here quickly and just say that C300 face is flipping ridiculous. You've got to wait for the review on Thursday. It is colossal. It is hilariously just fast. Really, really is. Right, let's go back over to, no, I've got to press this button first. There we go. And go back over. Right, so you can see there it's got the C300 face precisely welded to a 17.4 stainless body. We've got the hollow body design. Yes, that's that part there. There is no, what I can see, tungsten in there whatsoever. The hollow body allows for a face bending, generates faster ball speeds and great distance here. An arcing sole. An arcing sole is this little bit here. Right at the bottom, cascade, arcing sole cascade. Wow, that's one heck of a thing for the engineers. Accentuates flex and combines with distance optimized lofts to ensure max height. We'll talk about the lofts in a sec. Just want to make sure, is that, it's going over here, this confidence inspiring bit. You can't see that, but it says blade enthusiasts will appreciate the compact head's thin top line. Now that thin top line, yes, it has got a thin top line. However, when you actually get it close, like properly close, as in I'm talking, let's see if I can get you back here with me for a sec. That top line, if you get really close up to it, and you can put your fingers either side of it, actually is quite thick. But because it's sharp on the scoring edge and then tails off quite like curving, you hardly see it. When it's down in playing position, it does look like quite a thin top line. And so when it comes to seeing what you see there of that curve, yeah, it does. There we go. Let's get you back here. So I can't remember if I was which screen or what, but yeah, the top line's quite an aggressively rounded. So you actually, in playing position, you only see a very, very thin top line. So what we got here, we've got Neil said, what golf is the i530 intended for in Ping's eyes and in yours? Okay, well, for Ping's eyes, it's going to be for players' distance side of things. So you're talking about a mid to lowish handicap depending on speed. So mid, yes, for the forgiveness side of thing and a bit of distance, but then also the lower handicap that hasn't got a great deal of speed, wants a little bit of help and distance, then yes. However, don't mind saying this when it comes to, I'm not giving you any like particular specific information. The i530, I will put this out there now. Yeah, I've said it in the review. So the i530 has absolutely just completely shot Ping in the foot. There you go. The i530 is that blooming good. There's no point having the G730. There is no point having a G430. The i530 is that blooming good from performance and mishits. The mishits are identical as a G730. So by me saying this, doesn't give you the right to not watch the reviews. You've got to watch them. Obviously got to watch them. The algorithm loves it. And I love the reviews, the views as well. So you still have to watch the i530 and the G730 review, please. However, they are, it's Ping, you have made an amazing iron in the i530, but you have shot yourself in the foot because now the money that you've spent on that G730, you could have saved it and gone on holiday. Because the i530, the only reason anyone would buy a G730 is because they want confidence-inspiring real estate. And if you want a golf club in the G730, we'll go to the G730 in a minute, but if you want something which is the same size as Mars, then G730. There you go. We've says, Martin says, trampoline face, yes. Is it thin? Is it durable? Ping have never had an issue with their faces. There we go. We've got an NVIDIA thing up the top there. There you go. Yep. Ping have never had an issue whatsoever with their faces. You are going to get the odd occasional failure for just weird and wonderful reasons. It is not like other manufacturers which have been rife when it comes to certain issues with face cracking in irons and woods. I think we all know who the culprits of those are. And so Ping have never really had any issue with durability or any kind of quality control in the slightest. So even though this face is blooming ridiculous, I am in no way fearful that there is an issue with durability. Perry says, I'm a Mizuno user, but got to say Ping are putting some good stuff out lately. They always have done. To be fair, they always have done. Even from G400, G30 days. The Ping G was a bit, yeah, but they have been, they're just good. Ping are just really good. So Jason says, so as a 5-iron for my Blueprint S set, should I look at an i530 6-iron because of the loft? And yes, Jay, you got it on, you literally on the nose there. Or an i230. I may be able to hit both, I guess. You won't probably be able to hit both. You'll be able to hit 7-irons, and this is the thing. So what I would do, personally, if you're thinking about transitioning from a Blueprint S, which is a lovely iron, one of the nicest irons ever, and you're blending that with an i230, which is again, perfect blend because the lofts are seamless. But because of the lofts here, let's go get the lofts up on the screen. I'll show you what I mean, right? So let's just sort of skip through all this rubbish here. We talk about groovy stuff. More grooves, yeah, we've got Micromax grooves. Ping's idea of how many grooves can they fit on a face. They're saying it's for more consistent launch and spin and blah, blah, blah. And with power and feel, the lower CG is more aligned with more, okay. With the polymer, yeah, okay, guys, straight away, I'll put it out there very, very quickly that this golf club is in no way quiet. Yeah, so that says polymer. I would love to know what this thing sounds like if you were to take that stuff out. It's quite, yeah, it has got tungsten in the toe and the, obviously in the tip weights of the shaft. That's more for fine weight tuning of custom fitting, swing weights, etc. And then we're talking about shafts, blah, 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 it doesn't matter, that's fine. Right, let's go down to, no, it's not down there, where is it? Up here, there we go, specs, here we go. Now, what can you see on there? You can see everything but up to bounce. Okay, so the only ones you've got behind your chat section that you can see is swing weight, and they're running it all at D1 till 8 iron, D1.5 at 9 iron, and then D2 for pitch and wedge and gap wedge. Right, so i530. It would go ping, lol. Yeah, that's what Mr. Big says. Big Mister even. Yeah. Carl says, is the 430 Max 10K much better than the 430 Max? Yes and no, depending if you need it. So don't think of it as better, think of it as a different spin profile. It's like saying, is a G430 Max better than the LS Tech? Well, they're different heads, they do different things. And the Max 10K is a different head. Don't think of it as a Max maxed out. It is a Max different version. So a Max will obviously has more adjustability at the back. You can then make it slightly fade or draw biased. When it comes to the 10K, no weight movement whatsoever. You cannot change it, so it is what it is. But the dynamics of the head, the 10K launches it slightly higher than the Max and spins it slightly less than the Max. So it is a different head, like no different to the LS Tech, launches it lower than the Max and spins it lower than the Max. Is not necessarily is one better than the other. It's what you fit into and what your requirements are, which means you fit into one or the other, if that makes sense. Cody says here, hello sir, off topic, but I know you aren't shaft sensitive. Yes, but any opinion on the KBS C-Taper shafts? Read a lot about them being very harsh, but can get a good deal on a set of Strixon Z Forge with them. Z Forge, lovely set of irons, really are. C-Tapers, so they are fairly stiff in their bend profile, and they are fairly stiff in their bend profile. Generally speaking, stronger players that have either a fast swing with an aggressive transition, will then gravitate to something of that nature, but a C-Taper is still quite stiff. It is a fairly linear stiff. If you look at the EI curve bend profile of the shaft, you normally get like bends and stuff like that. It does go down obviously, because as it goes smaller down into the tip, obviously there's not as much mass there, there's not as much material, so it does get weaker. That's why it bends a bit more. It's not a linear bend, there's more of a bend the lower you get down to the tip, but it is a fairly linear bend profile, and so generally speaking it's for golfers that load the shaft quite heavily when it comes to their midpoint, and also a little bit on the kick, and also on the grip as well. I would go, if you can do, Cody, if you can go to a Mizuno fitting center and just get on the DNA machine. Just be honest with them. Look, I want to go on the DNA. I want to see what I want. The Strixon heads and the Mizuno head weights aren't that much different, so we're not having to take too much into account the effect of what a added or less swing, like a heavy or a lighter head will have on the shaft. They are very, very close. It's just a case of more so how close will that shaft be to what you physically need will be the key to understanding if it's any good for you or not. So, right, very quickly before we go back to the i530, John says, love the look of the Blueprint S. Do you think they would be suitable for mid-handicap like myself? John, absolutely yes, as long as your strike is generally speaking pretty okay. Blueprint S is actually quite forgiving for its type of iron that it is. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's 33 degrees loft and not 30 degrees or 29 degrees. As soon as you start taking loft off, you are going to start increasing tilt axis anyway. By then going to a Blueprint S, as long as you've got a half decent strike, we say if you're using the perimeter of the head, I would say no, but generally speaking, the Blueprint S is actually a very, very good head. Indeed, when it comes to a balance of performance and forgiveness. And I will say this again very, very quickly, the amount of testing that I've done of this over the years, it is eerie. And if you can get on a quad and test it yourself, the amount of times I've done this, it's hilarious. If you get a same golfer of whatever handicap, doesn't matter, you give them something big in their hands, confidence inspiring, forgiving, all those things, and you measure their spray consistency of the face against, in the impact, against if you give them a blade, a very thin top line, tiny blade length, tiny sole, you know, your bum's going 50p, 5p, 50p, 5p. When you look at it thinking, croy, that's small. Their spray consistency of their strike is massively better when you give them something which makes them focus. So necessarily sometimes when people suffer from strike, the worst thing you can do is basically just pamper to it by giving them something massive. Sometimes they have to be open to understanding, look, here we go, there's an experiment, do that, look what you're doing. And it makes them a better ball strike on the basis that they concentrate a heck of a lot more. There you go. I've said it before, I've just said it again, I won't say it anymore. So that's just, yeah. Right, Cody says the new loft jacking hollow body irons are turning me into a get off my lawn old man. Yeah, get off my lawn. Get off my land. Angelo says, is the Cobra Tech similar to the i530 but quiet? Cobra Tech, yeah, generally speaking, it is, it's a medium noisy iron, we'll call it. There are obviously irons in the player's distance category which are softer, quieter, 245 for one, and then you go into another side. Again, it's nothing right or wrong, it's nothing good or bad, it's different people want different things. So actually the best thing you can be is right in the middle, because at least you're not going to put off both sides of the equation. But yeah. Right, so let's go back quickly over to and finish off this. So let's talk about the lofts on the i530 very, very quickly. Obviously, we have got 29-degree 7-irons. That is fairly strong. The one good thing I do like about the fact that how Ping are working this is that they're not in a hurry to get down to the famous 45-degree pitching wedge and giving massive loft gaps. The only thing they are doing effectively is by introducing another wedge. Now, you used to have pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge, yes, so you had your pitching wedge at 45, your gap wedge at, say, 50, your sand wedge at 55, and your lob wedge at 60. Now, if you were to do this, your pitching wedge at 42, your gap wedge at 47, you're then looking at 52, 57 to keep the 5-degree gaps between your wedges. Yeah. Well, some people want 60. And so to do that, then you're looking at tweaking these a little bit and then going 33, 36, 40, 40, yeah, 44. That won't go 44 because you won't be able to bend it that much, most probably. What's the power spec on that? Yeah, 46, you can't do that. And so you're going to end up with an issue when it comes to bending lofts on power spec, especially down the bottom end of these. So power spec in these are like, no, they're not going to work whatsoever. You can retro spec them. And running it, yeah, am I going the right way around? Power spec, yeah, so 48 degrees, you can run it that way. So 31 degrees is probably more useful for a 60-degree lob wedge because you can run it that way. But the biggest issue you're going to find with these, not necessarily how many wedges you're going to need, because you're potentially going to have 5 wedges in your bag, depending on what this is here. If you go 46, you're 50, 55, 60, you've got 3 wedges after these in power spec, which is way too much, really. But again, what is loft? The main thing is if someone said earlier about i230s and the i530s, if you go i230, which is 33 for a 7-iron, this is 29, even if you retrospect this is at 31, that's 2 degrees off when it comes to running for 6-irons and 5-irons and stuff. It doesn't work, it is not working. And so you have to get a little bit clever when it comes to the lofts. So what I would do in that situation, purely on these, would honestly be to double up. You have 2 7-irons. You have an i230 7-iron, i530 7-iron. That means you haven't got to mess around with the lofts and crank them this and crank them that. And you run a much more in-line linear loft gaps, even though you do have 2 7-irons. If you are going to do that, if you're going to run a double up 7-iron, say, let's for example double up 7-iron, then you would need to make sure that your i230 is standard length for whatever you need, but then the i530 is built 1/2 inch longer to take into account the shaft gaps, length gaps that you'd need. If that makes sense, there you go. But we'll do tires first. Agree about head size with drivers. Some of these new Max models are so wide, I find it harder to hit the middle laterally. Yeah, it's an interesting one with driver. I haven't necessarily done the test with driver, especially sort of going down persimmon heads to big 460 heads. I haven't done that test, I'll be honest. Done obviously the iron, what I said before, countless times. So it'd be interesting to see what the spray pattern is for a persimmon against a 460cc driver head. The big difference, I suppose, would be that you have to measure the difference of a persimmon is only, say, certain big 460cc heads are massive, and there is a big difference in their forgiveness levels. And so it's not like you're talking about an iron which is yay big against an iron which is like that. Yeah, that's a big difference in an iron, but there's not going to be a huge amount of difference in MOI, resistance to twist, or forgiveness. So effectively, the gain that you're going to get from an iron being much bigger is not as much as you would do for a wood, which is bigger, because it is much bigger. And so you might have a much better consistency of spray pattern of strike with the persimmon head, but as soon as you start moving away from effective middle, with a much smaller head and the center of gravity being much, much closer to the face, the amount that is going to have effects on the tilt axis of the golf ball, etc., is going to be far greater than the same amount or even greater amount of deviation from the middle on a big 460cc head. So without boring the crap out of people, basically it's a little bit more complicated than that, but I would actually say from that point of view, the 460cc heads would win hands down. There we go. Right, so is everyone still awake? It can get a little bit techie when we're talking about that kind of stuff, but it's going, all right, there we go. So let's go, so we go G730 next. Let's go G730 next. Oops, what happened there? Let's there we go. I'll go away. Now I want to stay on the American website. Right, so let's go have a look now at the G730. What I think is now the pointless golf club. So there you go, the G730. The blade length on that is the same as the distance from one side to the other of Russia. Is a big golf club. It is a big golf club, especially when going to a G730 after using the i530. But then the G730 has always been that way. It's always designed to be that way, obviously, for real estate. It says here, maximising distance was the primary objective in Ping's longest and most forgiving iron to date, apart from the i530, generating typical distance gains of approximately 5 yards from the Flexon Hyper 17.4 stainless steel face. Right, I would like to say, first of all, generating typical distances gains of approximately 5 yards from the Flexon blah, 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 against what? I don't know if you can see that. I've obviously I've just copied that, or not copied it, highlighted it. That's effectively what it means, that they've gained, they're saying, that distance from the flexible face. Gained it from where? Against what? So if you're comparing it against the old G710, or are you comparing it against the G430? And if you're comparing it against the G430, well, the lofts aren't the same anyway, so you are going to gain anyway from the loft difference. Now, there's only 1.5 degrees or so, 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees, 2.5 degrees difference, I think, if by memory, on the 430 against the, so, I mean, that's half a golf club. Half a golf club, depending on what your speed is easy 5 yards anyway. Yeah, it's all the marketing side of things anyway. So let's get you back onto there, and let's just go have a quick look, skip through this. It's not just distance, but distance with max height and increased forgiveness for the shots to hit and hold the green. Okay, we'll get into that one, definitely. So we have got a fully hyper flexing 17.4 stainless steel. You can see there, it's just, that's all it does. We have a powerful sound, the cavity back design supplemented with a proven PureFlex cavity badge that enhances feel and produces a more powerful sound. Guys, I will say one thing, that thing definitely promotes a powerful sound, as in you will be able to hear someone using that on any golf course in any part of the country. It is loud. Yeah, and if that's what you want, there you go. G730 has it with bucket loads to spare. So you probably can't see this because it's behind the text, the chat, but it says here, full set performance. G730 is available in 5 iron through 9 iron. There we go, yeah. pitching wedge, U wedge, 50 and 56 wedge. We'll get to the lofts in a sec. The 4 wedges feature machine faces and grooves for added control and consistent results for all conditions. You can say that all you want, Ping, that's no worries. The fact that you have done the same as what they've done the G430, they've added another wedge to try and keep the distances semi-sensible. Angelo says, have to jump. Thanks, Jay. Good discussion. Angelo, it's a pleasure having you on, as always. Distance optimized lofts, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, talk about, there's loads of stuff on there. Craig says, does i530 feel and sound better than i525? No. Be honest, no, it doesn't. It depends on what you call by better. What do you, Craig, what do you call better? Because it's the thing, feel and looks, sound, all these things are so subjective. And so I will say one thing, someone completely disagrees with me because they want something else, which is absolutely fine. So when we say, does something feel better, we have to quantify for you at least what better is. Perry said, I know you're an ARCOS advocate. I am a statistics and I'm a fan of golfers knowing their game, and ARCOS and other things give people an avenue to be able to do such. But yeah, have you seen the latest firmware updates from the ShotScope X5? I have not, but feel free to educate everybody in what the update has brought, because I'm a great fan of golfers understand their own game and golfers being able to get better for free just by understanding their own game and making better decisions. There you go. Right, so let's go to the lofts because I want to sort of show you this. Excuse me, YouTube cough. There we go. Right, so we have only 5 iron now, but it is at 21.5 degrees. 21 and yeah, okay. And you can power spec these to 20 degrees. Like, really? That's crazy. Right, let's get it up on there. I've just noticed it is not on there, so that's no good for you. There you go, you can see it now. So you can see there, 21.5 degrees for a 5 iron, but you can power spec that baby to 20 degrees. Wowzers. And then of course it does, you can see here, so 28 degrees for a 7 iron, 32, 36, 40, 45, 50. Look, you can see where this is going. Obviously, they've, to their credit, they haven't done massive loft gaps. We're not talking, oh crap, then they're gonna have to get now 6 degrees of loft gaps to get down to that imaginary magic 46 degree or 45 degree pitching wedge number. So they've decided to add another wedge. And here it is, the little 50. So you have your 9 iron, your wedge and your gap wedge. But no, you don't, because now we've got a gap wedge V2, version 2 in there. And I don't mind it, because effectively all we've just called this now, because of such, this is a 7 iron, that's an 8 iron, that's a 9 iron, that's a pitching wedge, there's your gap wedge, there's your sand wedge, there you go. So all we've done in this whole thing here is basically shift everything forward. So we're testing 6 irons and stuff like that. Now, again, we can put what number we want on there, and effectively that's what we're going to be having when it comes to testing and custom fitting for you guys. That's what's going to be available. Yeah, so we've got what we've got. And companies, manufacturers for years have been cranking the living daylights out of golf clubs to win the launch monitor win battle war. Yeah, that thing there is now responsible, and marketing and commission and all these sales things, they're all designed and responsible for making you make the wrong choice when it comes to what you need. Commonly you get sold too many golf clubs, especially at the top end, where again, depending on your speed, you do not swing fast enough to make, say, a 5 iron or a 4 iron or a 6 iron sometimes, depending on the speed, functional. And so this is where a proper fitter would put you into something which is going to transition. The problem is, by doing that, is from a sales point of view, you break that buying decision up, and then it requires then the brain of the client to then think, I'm having to purchase more things. It's easier to tag things on than it is to then break away from the irons and then go into a different product group. or I don't like hybrids, or I don't like. As soon as you have that, you've lost them from a point of view of a sale. Personally, from my point of view, you should get fit for whatever is the most functional iron before it starts costing you control, having that extra iron. It's then saying, okay, then Bob, really 6-iron absolutely is what you shouldn't go any more than 6-iron. 5-iron would be going in too shallow, you wouldn't be able to control it, and you're going to have to physically then think about how far you're going to have to drop this before the green and then run it on. Now that's great if you know your golf course, that's great if you know that there's no bunkers in the way, that's great if you can do that. A lot of golf courses you can't. You have to fly it. And if you've got no control when it goes the other end, you can fly it if you want, but you're then going straight out the back. And so that's why control is important. What we got, John says, not a fan of hollow-bodied irons. I tried the i500s and Cobra Forge Tech, and not a fan of either. They will give you a springier feel. They will definitely give you a louder sound, for sure. You'll definitely have that. When it comes to, let's be honest, when it comes to the G730, the G730 is a really very good iron. And if Ping have not made the i530, I would have quite possibly had a completely different view of the G730 when it comes to its forgiveness, when it comes to its performance, because it works really well. It does really well. It honestly does. The big problem that I've got with it is the i530. The i530, when I put the i530 up against the G730, and I did this test on the same day. So I've done the reviews, I've done the data sets and all bits and pieces like that, all the data sets on the same day. Yeah, and because I'm doing 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour swing speed testing, I'm not knackering myself out. It's not like I'm doing massive lots of data sets for drivers and stuff. So I can quite easily spend all day hitting all the data sets required for 2 irons. It does take that long, honestly. You wouldn't believe how many shots I hit to gain the information that I do for the reviews that I do. That's why it takes so long. But yeah, so again, we're talking, and I'm thinking, when I'm doing this, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, because obviously I was capturing information, doing 70 miles an hour with this golf club, 8, 9 miles an hour. Then go to the next golf club, so I've collected all the mishit stuff as well for it. Then go to that one, do the exact same thing again. It wasn't until I edited it that I realized, do you know what? These are really, really close. As in, the i530 is a player's distance iron. It's got much smaller looks. It's much better looking than the G730. It does feel better, and it's just as forgiving. What is going on here? What we got here on the things very quick. I did see mine saying, guys, I have to go polish my new 245s. Catch up next week. Thanks, Jay Nightle. Oh, yeah. I've wanted to polish actually a set of 241s and see if I can actually get the mirror. But let me know how that goes on. Yeah, enjoy polishing your new set of 245s. Carl says, a lot of them are also making the standard 7-iron length ½ inch longer, so literally making it a 6-iron. PXG do exactly that between the P and XP model. They oddly enough have a 12-yard gap. I honestly just hope that golfers see through a lot of that and ensure they get the right equipment for what they need. Move it across from there. Rather than just effectively, yeah, just getting suckered into buying stuff they don't need. Right. Neil said, oh, my mind. Aw. Yeah, that's funny. Perry said, sent X5 updates linked to you. I did see something pop through. Thank you. I'll have a little look. Yeah, we'll have a look at that one. Too much list with allowed characters here. Yes, I know, unfortunately. Gavin's popped in and says, when is your review coming out? Hi, Gav. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for popping in. So my review is coming out of the i530 and... Okay. Definitely the i530 is coming out embargo day, Thursday, at 4 o'clock, afternoon, UK time, wherever you are in the world. Obviously, you're going to have to do the calculation for that one. That is the global, I think it's global, is it global? It's definitely from the America and UK and Europe side of things. It's definitely that side of thing. Asia are a bit different. I mean, again, a lot of the times they were having G430 stuff way before Europe and the USA. So I believe anyway, it doesn't really matter. So 4 p.m. Thursday, that's the i530. When it comes to the G730, I'm not sure whether to put it out on the same day. If it would have been 2 o'clock, I might have done it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Perry says, Mini Ninja collection time. Have a good night all. Have fun. Enjoy. Wah, wah, wah. Use your drink. There you go. So, I've got loads and loads of notifications now on my phone. Yep. Right, so there you go. That's the overview of the i530. So i530, if the i530 had not come along, G730 would be absolutely. If you want something which is really forgiving, you want something which is massive, you want something that you want to put down by the golf ball and think, this is so big and so shovel-like that if I don't like golf after this, I could use my golf clubs in the garden to dig with. Or the fact that you just feel that you want to shut your eyes and swing and make half decent contact with it. G730, absolutely there for you. It's for the guys that want real estate effectively. Big top lines, big, massive soles. There's one thing actually, the G730, which might be pretty good with. If you are someone who interacts with the ground fairly regularly before the golf ball, the sole thickness on this G730 is so big that it will definitely, and it's got a half decent amount of bounce as well, obviously with Ping run the quite high bounce numbers, it will definitely resist digging in the ground before you get to the golf ball. There is that. It won't, obviously it's not a magic wand, but yeah, I'd still get a lesson rather than having to buy golf clubs based on the fact that this sole thickness is the size of someone's phone. But there you go. So but then obviously i530 comes in, and when you measure it straight up against each other, it's like, wow, Ping, what have you done? You've made an amazing iron in the i530. My gripe is with its looks, I don't like the height of the toe between the sole, and as the toe goes up, the peak of the and comes round again. I don't like, it's not high enough. It's too stubby, which makes it, especially from the back, it looks like a hybrid head. That's a personal thing, has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the performance at all. And the only other thing I don't like is its sound, its feel. It doesn't sound stroke feel very nice, and so therefore I wouldn't use it for that point of view. When I say very, very nice, what that means to me is I don't like loud golf clubs. I like hitting something and it's fairly quiet, fairly soft, fairly dull. And so when it comes to people that want confidence, inspiring punch, want that feel, that ball rocketing off the face, i530 does it really, really well. So Carl says, which make model of irons have the highest toe? Then, pal, that's a really good question. I don't measure it. I just look at it subjectively more than anything else. I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, one of the, oh my word, sitting down for too long. I have to get up in a little bit. Oh, here we go. Come here. Can you see this? I don't know if you can. There we go. Oh, I better go and. Should I polish these first? Yeah, I better polish these first, and you'll understand when I get back over here. It's one of those things that you should never show these off without giving them a polish first. Answer on the postcard: what golf club have I got in my hand? Only as I love my high toe wedges, and I've not bought anything golf related in at least 10 minutes. Yeah, right. So. Look at these. Everyone knows what one of those is. Wilson's staff model lovelies. Absolutely gorgeous things these are. That has got a decent height on the toe. So if I was to do like that, see my point? That way a bit better. Yeah, I like that. I like something which has a slightly higher toe to it. The i530s, in no way do they have any form of nice high toe. And so it doesn't, in the i530, it's cut down and it's more, yeah, just look at that. So one of my favorites, just because the looks of those are just ridiculously lovely. Really quite nice. Oh, my back. I'm giving my back a crack. I'm getting too old for this sitting down for a long time. Right, so what time now? We've been going for an hour and a half, and what would everyone else like to talk about? Oh, Craig, did you send a message on here as well? Did I answer you? Because I just see you've, by my watch, you sent a message via Instagram. I'll answer that one. So agree with you about using irons with smaller heads. Regret selling a set of Strixon 965s. They were decent ones. Probably played my best golf with them. Yeah, they're decent golf clubs. Decent golf clubs. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to have to get up and move around because when you're old like me, there we go. Now, oh my word, where's my? I'll flick over to that one there. There we go. Now, that should now focus on me. Yeah, there we go. Look at them. Crazy, isn't it? There you go. Oh, I need to move, you see. So you can still hear me, you can still see me and stuff like that. I'm just moving my body around, sitting there doing, yeah, for a little while. What have we got? So, Big Mister says, gotta go. Thanks for the info. Anytime, anytime. Thank you very much for subscribing and thank you very much for joining in. It's been much appreciated having you on. Tyler says, any tips on getting accurate spin off a mat? I have a GC3, but spin seems to be 2K off. Okay, how do you have it calibrated for irons to get accurate distance? Okay, Tyler, are we talking, so give us some frame of reference. Can you tell me what your spin rate is with, say, 7 irons? 7 irons are perfectly good golf club to talk about. Everyone, it's common knowledge when it comes to 7 iron stuff. So let me know what you get off normally and what happens on the spin rate, high or low, off a mat. And then I'll be able to answer the question. As now we wait, unfortunately, because of YouTube time lapse. Oh, but the good news is, on my swing side of things, I'm starting to, okay, Tyler says 4,500, 7.9, usually 6K. So, okay, I'm assuming, so 6.5K is what you hit outside, and on a mat, you're getting 4,500. Is that right? Big thumbs up if I'm right. Or is it the other way around? It's enthralling TV. The pause. Yeah, so I'm working on at the moment, obviously my swing, and it's feeling at the moment I'm getting correct. Okay, so 4,500 on a mat, usually 6,500, 6 to 6,500 off the deck normally. So, what I would normally say would be on a mat, depending on what your mat surface is, you can get higher strikes on the face when it comes to a mat. So an indoor environment, depending on what mats you have, you can get artificially higher strikes on your shots indoors. And of course, when it comes to that, your GC3 is no different to the quad. It's the same ball algorithm, so it's as accurate as the quad when it comes to your ball dynamics. Obviously with GC3 you can't measure strike, because obviously with that thing there, which you can see, obviously, which way do we go? There we go. We've got dots on here, as you can see. So you have dots on the face, which basically measure, as the golf club comes into impact, what's going on with the with strike. Now, when it comes to a mat, you can get a higher strike point on a mat, especially if it's quite spongy, if it's quite thick piled, etc. And so therefore, you will get a certain amount of vertical gearing, which will then potentially hit longer shots. If you still gain a decent amount of club head speed, and the mat doesn't slow the head speed, you can distinctly get longer carries indoors because of that. Now that very much so is down to the quality of the hitting mat which you're hitting from. I have got my own custom build. Again, if you go, what was he on his, is it Golf RND? He changed his channel name. But you can just search on YouTube for custom divot mat, golf divot mat. And effectively, I've built myself a version of the very same thing. And it works brilliantly, because this is above all of every single thing I've tested, the best for controlling and keeping spin rates how they should be and realistic to outside. And again, TXG in the old school days of TXG themselves have done tests to that difference between mat and grass. What's the when you transition from one to the other, why do some people get completely weird and wonderful spin rates and launch conditions and stuff using a mat over the grass? And it is down to the quality of the mat. If you have a decent, really good quality mat, and so it then doesn't artificially sort of change how this golf club is interacting with the floor, turf, ball kind of situation, then you can get one which basically does exactly what it would do on grass. As a general rule, there's a lot of sand as you'll hit the golf ball slightly lower on the face on grass, which then spins the golf ball up slightly. Obviously then doesn't launch it quite as high. When on this kind of turf, not this kind of stuff that I've got on there, but especially spongy stuff, you can get an artificially higher launch in lower spin in flight because of that vertical strike thing. There you go. Kieran says, I have a question. Is there another set of iron heads that you would like to put next to your copper MP20s if money was no issue? Well, I've got a set of 221s. So I've got 221s going in there, and then I've got my coppers underneath in a triangle kind of wedge shape. I'm not, I like my golf equipment, I do. I mean, I'm like no different to any other golfer. So, who likes equipment or likes their shirts or likes their shoes and likes golf clubs and likes gloves and all these things that, like hats, got loads of hats. I like stuff, I can't help it. I'm like a little Aladdin. I kind of like get all my stuff and stick it in my cave. But I'm not necessarily one to like drool over something. So there's nothing really on the golfing world at the moment I look at and I go, oh, do you know what? I'd love a set of those. I suppose the closest thing, I mean, I do like the copper, but I would never use them. This is the thing. If I went and had a set of copper golf clubs of specific, like say the Cobra coppers or something like that, I wouldn't use them. And this is the thing, because I've got a mild case of OCD, and that's why I do this. I mean, a case of what I'm doing here is I can see like there's some marks on the shaft, and because the shaft is shiny, I can't help but buff it. So I have got a mild case of OCD in that sense. So I don't like, I mean, I've got my set of golf clubs, and I keep my set of golf clubs as clean as I possibly can do. Bear in mind, they're chrome. And if you'd see my golf clubs now, my MP20s, I still run MP20s. They're possibly one of the nicest set of MP20s around, because I do keep them looked after, absolutely. Tyler says, thanks, I'm having trouble finding the channel, but I'll keep searching. Hang on a sec. I'll see if I can flick over quickly. Hang on a mo. Yeah, back in. Right, let's see if I can help you out. Let's see if I can help you out. U-U-O-R-N-D-L. So, okay, that's not going to work. Let's go like that. I'm doing this so you can still see me, which is fine. Let's just go golf divot mat DIY. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Right, so. Oh, go away. Let's just kill that. Let's do a skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad, skip ad. There we go. Right. What I'll do now, like that. And I'll then flick over to me. Let's see if this is going to work. Chrome tab. No, that's the wrong one. That's on my G5. There we go. GH5. Where is the... There's a chat from Chrome. Window capture. There we go. Ready? There you go. That's... sorry, no, he's Pixel Golf now, as you can see from there. Pixel Golf, how to DIY divot simulating insert for indoor golf simulator plus giveaway, whatever. That was a while ago. We are talking 2 years ago now. There you go. So effectively what he does here is he has, don't use acrylic. So the people do not use normal acrylic, use polycarbonate, because the first one that I had, the V1, it broke, it shattered, because acrylic, yeah, no, use polycarbonate. Well, polycarbonate's the kind of stuff they use in bulletproof screens, so it will take a golf club whacking into it. And of course then, yeah, you've got open and closed cell foam. So open cell foam is squishier and closed cell foam is harder. So use the open cell foam. Again, if I was to move it across like that, you can see he's now putting Gorilla Glue on there in that kind of shape, as you can see. Yeah, and then he puts the turf on top, so you can see. Then he squishes it down. Yeah, presses it down, leaves it for a little while. This is one I made earlier, kind of thing. And then he's putting the on here. You can see this is the closed cell foam, the harder stuff on the edges. The open cell foam goes down in strips, because obviously that's the part of the mat which wants to squidge. This part here, the front and back, that's going up against the front and back edges, so you're not going to want that to squidge. And of course that's what you do. And then you get to a point where you have that. You can, I've got a couple more little bits of closed cell foam, harder foam in here, just to stop it springing too much, because it can spring quite a lot. And he has done a drilled through and put a T in there, put a piece of closed cell foam in there, and you can get that idea. There you go. That's what it basically is, and it shows you how to cut it. And we've got another ad. Lovely. But there you go. That's the whole idea of that one. Get back over here. There you go. That's probably bored the living pants of a lot of people. I'm going to move back over there so I don't have to then sort of worry about my back, because I'm getting old, remember. I need a drink, need a drink, need a drink, need a drink, need a drink. All right. I did see Kyle say something, didn't we? John said, absolutely love the look of Wilson Tour model. Yes. Seen a set for sale with DG S300 stiffs. Yeah, that's that. What's it? I've got these in dynamic gold mid 115s. But feel my swing speed would be not sufficient as a senior golfer. We'll even have a chat. We'll have a chat in a sec. Fish. Okay, right, so let's just tackle this swing speed thing idea. Right, DGS 300s. So dynamic gold S300 is a fairly stout shaft. It is. It's not, so have I got anything with a DGS 300 around here? Probably have got somewhere. But so a DG, dynamic gold, is very stiff on the tip. So if you're looking for someone to control the flight of a golf ball, then yes, something like a dynamic gold if they are delivering way too much loft, if they're someone who has this effect of sort of doing this a little bit, they release very much like this, adding loft and, you know, kind of doing that, then you can limit that a little bit with a dynamic gold. Yeah, it will stop the shaft from kicking so much on the, especially on the bottom part, and it will control dynamic loft slightly. When I mean slightly, you may get a degree in shaft, sometimes even less. And dependent on how you release and how you unload the shaft, and something is called shaft cycling. So again, anyone who wants to truly understand, especially with driver, how a shaft is loading and unloading during the swing, just from going up to the top into transition and on the way down, there is, again, I can go through it now if you really want me to explain what shaft cycling is, but you can actually gain speed by going to a stiffer shaft. So it's not always just exactly what people think when it comes to marketing, because marketing's great, because marketing sells products. But marketing is one thing, but my job used to be, when I was custom fitting and coaching full time, was purely making sure you buy the right thing, not being sold the wrong. So when it comes to a dynamic gold, we first need to understand how you load the shaft. So don't think necessarily any shaft is too stout for you. Only think necessarily that it may be too heavy. Obviously 120 gram, 130 gram shaft. I mean, what is the DG S300? Is it 124, 127 grams? Standard weight, I can't remember. Heavy anyway. And so this is the problem. You need to make sure that that is not too heavy. Don't worry about the flex, because the flex is relevant to the shaft in question. I've seen X shafts, S shafts and R shafts, so extra stiff, stiff and regular, on the same fitting, because one manufacturer's understanding of what stiff is massively different to another. So again, you can have a regular stiff and an extra stiff shaft all do a similar thing, but different companies classify it as different, and so there's no such thing as standardized for shaft flex. So yeah, you need to find out first of all anyway. Thank you very much, Carl, appreciate that. 124 when cut, I knew it was something like that. But Carl says, oh, has that not cut through properly? No, it hasn't gone through properly. Hang on a sec. I'll make sure Kyle's massage pops through. There we go. Has to be popped up there. There we go. Right, so Kyle says, do you use iron head covers? With a face of which I can only assume to be one of displeasure. Yes, is the answer to that question. I do use iron head covers. Why? Because I'm a carrier, and I cannot stand ka-tink, 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 and that's what the golf clubs do. They just do this all the way, bang, 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 and I can't bloody stand it. It drives me mental. That noise constantly in my ear every single time I'm walking playing golf. Ka-tink, 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 ka-tink. Oh no. So yes, I do use iron head covers. It drives me insane if not. And the other, obviously, effect with the iron head covers, you do not get the dinks. You do not get those, which people call character building and stuff like that. And if that's what they like, absolutely fine. Just ding them up as much as you like. That's the beauty of people. We are all different and we all like different things. And I am firmly down the, I want to keep something looking literally, if I can keep something looking as nice as I can for as long as I can, then that suits my little way of doing things. No different to, I mean, there's other, I've got other golf clubs over here, which similar thing. Now, I was thinking, I'm not quite sure on this one because I haven't got, what was it? So Neil says, so now we obviously need to see the iron head covers you use. That is nice. There you go. That's nice and easy because I've still got my iron head cover off. There you go. They are authentic ones from Mizuno. Although I did hear that Mizuno have a new set of authentic iron head covers coming out, of which I will be very, very happy to see. I have thought about going infills of 241s and see if I can actually get used to playing them. I'm not quite sure yet. YouTube drink. Carl says, yeah, we do, Niels. Pretty certainly doesn't like it. Don't they easily drop off the heads? No, because they've got Velcro. They're Velcroed. So they just go and then like that, my dear. That's the whole idea of these things, and they are quite good for that, I must admit. I do like... I'm a great fan of head covers because it keeps them relatively, yeah, relatively, as long as you keep them clean, obviously putting the head covers in, and then, yeah, so that's what they do, but you can hear them. Yeah, it's like properly, once they're done, I mean, they're like, so you have to like properly force it. Carl said, I should put them on my Tacomos. Yes, you should, sir. You should. I mean, in my case up here, I mean, I have got my, I'll leave them there though. I don't touch them. They sit in that case and then that's what they do, but that's how I roll anyway with my sadness. Right. But even if I get my 7 iron, which is my most used iron, because obviously I need to regrip these more than anything. Where's my, customary, give him a clean. Right, so this is what my, I'll give you an idea, because the good thing with Mizuno's, on the end, they have you won't be able to see that because you can't, oh, hang on. Yeah, you can't see that. Oh, there you might. Can you see that number? So the number says, with my eyes, 030919. So that was the day on which these were built. 030919. So as you can see, if we are talking about later on this year, 0309, which is probably another, what, 6 months away. But these are 3.5 years old. There you go. I have got some old Callaway ones, but got fed up of looking looking like all the gear, no idea when I first started. It took me 2 years to realise on a golf course everybody's only interested in their own. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. But different golfers love different things. So some people like bling, some people like shine, and for the people that do love bling and they do love shine, yeah, I mean, of course, I love this. I'm a great fan of chrome. And so these things for me that's what I like. And so you go to the 241, they just don't quite look as nice because they haven't got the chrome. But again, goes to show that you play much too little golf on course. You're right, it does. I mean, they are scratched and stuff like that. I caught one, I can remember. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I can get it on there. I caught one slightly, it was in the rough, and I caught one slightly high in the face and it did scratch it, did mark it, but yeah. I mean, the sole's got scratches and stuff, but again, because I'm generally speaking, I'm quite lucky that I'm quite a decent ball striker. I don't start like digging for things and then, yeah. But yeah, that's... Poor Jay. Yeah, I do. That's the thing. I am, unfortunately, because I'm so busy doing YouTube and I don't get the opportunity to play as much as I would like to. I think, I played twice last year. Again, busy. and I can't. The way things are going at the moment, I did speak to the pro today at Flemington about me going to their course and using their course for doing on-course stuff, because I think over the passage of time, let's be honest, the things that you've asked for, the guys that have asked for, has definitely been much so more course orientated stuff, even if it is literally just a few different videos of how do I play golf or how do I manage golf course or anything else like that. So that's what I've decided to do in 2024. I possibly or may not, I'm not quite sure, whether I will include any course stuff during the reviews, because course stuff from my point of view does not add anything to a review whatsoever. So especially, let's say, drivers are brilliant. Comparing two drivers, you go on the golf course and you hit two drives, one with one drive, one with another drive, and then you go down there and see how they got on. And I did this with I can remember, what was it, I can't remember now, was it the Vice stuff? I did some Vice ones. Hit two drives. I had GC2, I think it was at the time, in front of me, and recorded what the carry distances were. And even one went further than the other. When you actually got down to the golf ball on the fairway, the other one was distinctly longer. And it's nothing because obviously one went further through the air and had a much more advantageous flight than the other one. But it was because of the floor. When it hit the ground, the one that went further hit an upslope and basically stopped in its tracks, and the other one, which was shorter, hit a downslope and just run. And so this is what I don't like about on-course stuff, when you're especially trying to do, well, honest critiquing between evaluating what one is one over the other. There is nothing you can learn from a golf course. If you did the same test 100 times, 200 times, 1,000 times over a passage of however long, then yes, you will distinctly then tell the average is over. But in a however many minute video, you're not going to get the information you require. And the only good part about doing it is the fact that it's more cinematic and people like seeing grass. It doesn't actually add anything of validity or usefulness to a video, but I have thought about doing that. Not sure yet. John says, what shafts do you have in your MP20s? KBS Dollar Taper 120. There you go. I even had to look at that. Hello, as beyond as I'm terrible at pronouncing, so apologies straight away for getting that wrong. How about interaction with irons and wedges? Oh, okay. Oh, that thing's in the way, so I can't see. Does it say anything else? How about turf interaction with irons and wedges? Okay. Right, I've hit I don't know how many golf clubs, as in my time. And guys, you've also tested all different types of golf clubs, and I have hit countless. Off of mats, off of grass. I do not prescribe really to the turf interaction brigade. They talk about this and they talk about that. And if that's what they feel and that's what they want, absolutely go for it. Personally, the turf interaction, I care about ball interaction. So the turf for me happens after the golf ball. If the turf is happening before the golf ball, I've done something pretty wrong. And so I'm looking much more down, how does this golf club feel with the ball? And then afterwards, it kind of just, for me, makes no difference whatsoever. Wedges, again, depending on what shot you're playing. I'm not a great fan of playing massive dig-in shots with the wedge. So if you're coming down, you're hitting shots where you're hitting like that, and you're taking big clumps of wherever you are out in the world, out with the ball, then yes, turf interaction to you is going to be quite an important thing. But for me, I'm looking at when I'm using wedges, especially, to literally just bruise the ground. That's not turf interaction, really. I mean, I'm not getting much from that. I'm bruising the ground, just touching it. So whether it's soft ground, whether it's really hard ground, it's not like I'm seeing a massive difference. If I was to go hit the ground when it's really hard, it would bounce off and I'd really feel it. And then no different if I was to attack the ground really hard and it was really soft, I'd go straight through it. You'd feel a massive difference. But because I'm one for trying to be a little bit shallower and just literally use the bottom part, the bounce of the golf club, the sole of the golf club on the ground, not the leading edge. To me, wedges, turf interaction, I would generally speaking use a bit more bounce when there's like softer conditions, absolutely. And then when it's harder conditions in the summer, I'll go to a set of wedges which have a very, very slight lower bounce amount. But I'll be honest, when it comes to irons and stuff, to me, I will just hit shots. I will potentially get a slightly less angle attack down in the height of summer, especially at Thetford, where it gets really, like the fairways get baked, they get brown, they go rock hard. That's only to protect my wrists, just in case I get a really hard bit. I'll get a little bit more picky, so my angle attack will go from 4 to possibly say 2.5 down. But apart from that, and it gets horses for courses. Some people love turf interaction, some people don't love turf interaction. I'm in the kind of, I care about ball interaction, and what happens with the turf after that is then, yeah, I don't really feel it. I'll be honest, I just, it's ball. There you go. Hope that answers your question, because again, it's very difficult, because again, it's very much so like everything else, subjective against objective. Looks, feel. Some people look at these and go, they look lovely, and some people look at those and go, do you know what, that's disgusting. I won't give me my game improvement irons any day of the week, or give me the satin look any day of the week. I don't like chrome. Again, it's right, because one thing I would say is if you're going to go to, as I put it back now, the Wilson's a perfect example. They're really shiny, no different to like the Callaway. Even the AI Smoke, which is a game improvement iron, has got really quite prominent reflective chrome bars as such down the toe and on the heel side, and it really does reflect. And of course, you start putting that in high lofted pitching wedges, etc., and you have a sun which is quite low down, there is a potential that that might shine up into your eyes. And I can tell you what, that's going to be pretty bright. So I can understand why people say that they would like satin ones because of that nature. Absolutely agree, I do. Carl says, what would you say is the most forgiving driver for out to in open face power faders? Those heavy faders out there, what's the most forgiving driver? It's going to have to be a ping. It will have to be a ping, absolutely. The most forgiving driver out there, and have always been, is ping. They believe differently to most manufacturers. Ping don't care about being the longest, they care about being the longest overall. That's including all your mishits. And in a world where obviously we have launch monitors, and there is a lot of golf equipment sold on what these launch monitors say, incorrectly, might add, the point of functionality and the importance of functionality of flight, rather than what the launch monitor always says and chasing that 1 out of 50, which goes a long, long way. Well, I care about the other 49 as much as that 1 out of 50. And so ping. Now, depending on obviously what you need, the LS Tech is it's not the least forgiving. Actually, the SF Tech is the least forgiving for ping, but even so, the SF Tech from ping on the least forgiving is still as forgiving as some manufacturers' most forgiving. And so, yeah, you can make that for yourself. But when it comes to ping, for example, they're all exceptionally forgiving drivers. It's just very much so more of a case of why you need whatever CG of head you need and whatever loft you need. But as with everything, the most important thing is the fitting, especially with a manufacturer of an offset camber loft sleeve, different to that when you're talking about Titleist and of Callaway with their SureFit necks, etc. They can move their loft and around without obviously messing around with other parts of the face dynamics. When it comes to an offset camber loft sleeve, you moving this and move that will inevitably have an effect on the face open or close, or also lie and stuff like that. So you just have to be aware when you're doing certain things. But yeah, important to get fit. Carl says G400 Max. What's that underneath the heart? I'll have to go check. G400 Maxes are still going for 225 to 250 pounds in this day and age of eBay. Yes, they are. Pings have always held their value exceptionally well, and that's purely because of the fact of how good they are. They are very, very forgiving. What you'll find is, generally speaking, the more forgiving an iron, a more forgiving a driver, the higher the resale value, the higher the or the least appreciation that that golf club will go through. And Pings have always been forgiveness first, always been forgiveness first. Where you go other ones, the only way other manufacturers can retain a certain level of second-hand value will be through prestige. So you go to a set of old school Mizunos, they'll obviously keep their value considering how old they are on the basis of the old MP32s, MP37s and blah, 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 blah. You get a nice set of those. And of course, they go up, they go in their value anyway. You get the same age set of golf clubs from any other manufacturer and they're going for, well, nowhere near as much. Carl says, would a G425 Max be a good option in terms of bang buck compared to the new 10K Max? Yes and no. So the 10K Max is there to do a different job than the Max. If you need the Max because you need the adjustable flight, if you need the Max because you need that slightly higher spin profile and that slightly lower launch, then the 10K, someone could give you it. I suppose if someone gave you a 10K, you could change your dynamics to suit it. But under normal circumstances, you buy the driver based on what you require, not what the marketing says. The 10K is a blooming good driver. It is the holy grail of drivers, being really forgiving and also launches higher and spins lower, which is the holy grail of driving. If you can get that, then great. But that's only if you need it. If you don't need it, because you need a slightly higher spin profile, because you don't swing, say, that fast, and you need more spin to keep the ball up in the air, or your just dynamics is such that you deliver quite up on the golf ball and you de-loft the golf club, then your spin rate is going to be quite low, and then you need the more spin you can get. And so then by having a golf club which spins the golf ball less would actually be detrimental to your control and then also distance. So by far, the most important thing is making sure that you get the right center of gravity head to suit what you need, rather than what people perceive as better. Because in Ping's world especially, there is no such thing as better. It's what fits you better for what CG head you need. That's why they make distinctly different heads for different people's requirements. Again, that's all done in a proper unbiased fitting. Lee says, hello Lee, hey pal, thanks for your call and advice on my i525. Change shaft from stiff to regular and shanks have gone. That's good. No one loves the hosel rockets. They pop along every so often. I hit one, when was that? I hit one a little while ago. They pop in every so often, you can't help it. It surprises you from time to time. It's been a while since I hit one on golf course, I must admit. But I will hit shanks when I'm trying to do like tests. This is the thing, I won't do it because obviously I'm going to be not warmed up or anything. But when I'm hitting shots, I'll purposely try and shank it when it comes to hitting off-center hits. There you go, low shanker, because I'm trying to hit the heel. As in, when I'm trying to do my shots of 0-0, head it out the middle, then you go. And then when you head out the toe, try and whack it out the toe. And then you do another shot, here you go, off the middle here, but then you try and hit it off the toe. Oh, that's low toe. That's like there, off that dot. But the important thing is you've got to try and keep your delivery the same. So the same amount of dynamic loft, the same amount of path and face angles, and just then miss-hit it. So there's been occasions, so again, I'll try and do another shank, or not quite shank. Oh, no, I got it. Just got it on there. You can see, there you go. I don't know if you can, you won't be able to see on there. The heel dot has got a little mark in it with a ball. Just one whacked it. So again, I hit shanks because I'm trying to hit obviously hosel shots, or not quite hosel shots, but again, I'll be honest, I'm much more accurate when I'm hitting shots out the middle than I am when I'm trying to purposely hit 15 millimeters off the heel. But again, if you can, like, no different to the G730 video and the i530 video, literally just done. if you compare those two videos, if you actually watch those two videos when they come out, and then watch it all the way through, obviously, then watch it again, but skip to the end, and then if you've got one phone and one TV or whatever, you can actually see how close those deliveries were, and also how close the strikes were, and they are like so close that they are near enough apples to apples comparison, and just how good the i530 is. Like really, really good. Like really, very, very good. We got anyone else? No, we got anyone. So, anyone else got any other questiones? I need to warm up if I'm going to be hitting shots. I won't be hitting shots too late, but oh, the body needs moving. Oh, YouTube sniff. Really should have the old simulator on, shouldn't I, really? But it's all right. So yeah, that's to Tyler. This is the mat, obviously my own custom size that's in the ground. Allows me to, because it's divot mat, because it squishes, it allows me to hit fat if I want to, which I don't. But then obviously see a high strike on the face, where a lot of mats bounce the golf club, like driving ranges mats especially, they'll hit the ground and bounce you up into it. So you can actually hit a really bad shot, bounce up and hit a really good contact, and you think you've hit a really good shot, when you haven't. Not at all. Not at all. There you go. Right, no one. Okay, fair enough. No more comments, no more questions. Well, in that case then, what I might do, if no one's got any other things, I might then decide that'll be enough. So that was a fraction heavy. Trying to change path a little bit. Change path does have the tendency to do that. So as a pattern, when I change path, I also change angle of attack slightly. No different. If I go more from the inside, my angle of attack will go down. And then if I go across, my angle of attack will go up. That's because how my body is staying back. So by me keeping my body back here, my shoulders working this way to go more from the inside, my low point is slightly earlier, fractionally. So it has the effect of changing the arc. No different if I then want to go across and I want to go this way and swing across, because my shoulders are working more laterally this way. Of course, that moves my sternum this way, moves my low point later, which then has the effect of coming down on the golf ball more. So again, when people do their path changes, etc., normally if in a coaching environment, if you see someone with a heavy downward attack angle and then also a poor path that goes out to in, really quite easy to fix, because you've obviously got two problems there to fix. You've got not only the angle attack problem, but primarily the big issue is the path issue. But the great thing with changing the path issue, you also, as a byproduct, fix the angle attack issue at the same time. Saves people money no end by doing it all in one go. Lee says, best ping irons for 14 handicap in your opinion, carry 7 iron 140 something yards because you're behind the heart. Anyone? What's my answer? Anyone who's still watching, write down there what you believe my answer to Lee will be, to see if the word is coming out of what I believe, if people are starting to understand the way it should be. Gary Captain says, I'm playing G430 HL high launch and looking forward to trying the i530s and hoping I can move into them. They look so much better. You will have to retrospec them, Gary. If you are in a HL for the reasons of you being slow swing speed and so requiring HL through the Loft side of things, the launch side of things, then you're gonna have to retrospec those i530s, absolutely. So Kieran says i525. You might be a little bit biased there, Kieran, I think. And then Carl says i230. Neil says i530. Okay, this is interesting. Excuse me. So Lee, best ping irons for 14 handicap in your opinion. Carry 7-iron 145 yards. Okay, so first of all, what's your strike like? First of all, when you do any kind of decision making on what kind of irons you require, first of all, reference one thing and one thing only. First of all, what's your forgiveness needs? If you are someone who say, I'm 14 handicap, but I really do use a lot of the face. I shouldn't use as much of the face as I do, but I really do use a lot of it. Then you say, right, okay, so let's go into something which is going to be a little bit more forgiving off of those weird and wonderful strikes. Do you go into a blade? Absolutely not, because they are not going to be as helpful. Are they as bad as what people think? No, not at all. But they are they're not as helpful as other ones out there. Okay, cool, right. So we've got your requirements for forgiveness, and that kind of tailors into one side or the other. Okay, what distance requirements do you like? How fast do you swing? If you're like Gary there, and has potentially going into G430 HL irons, because speed requirements, the speed obviously is not very high, and so he needs the high launch to get the golf ball going, then you then have to go into a completely different idea. Then you're talking about, okay, let's go into something forgiving. Yes, let's go into something like for a ping, an i230 or an i530 when this one obviously comes along. But then retrospec it if you're quite quick. If you're quite quick, you're going to need a certain amount of distance gaps between them, so make sure the loft gaps are 4 degrees, because if you're very quick, you're 90 plus miles an hour and you've got 5 or even 6 degrees loft gaps, your distance gaps between irons are going to be mental. But as long as you're looking at, you've got to try, if you're a slow swing speed, you've got to make sure you get them retrospect to try and get as much loft launch going as possible, because if not, you're just going to, well, effectively, you're just going to have no capacity of having a 7-iron that's going to be functional whatsoever. Have a 7-iron, 8-iron, 9-iron pitching wedge, yes, and then go into hybrids after that. But effectively it comes from that. So forgiveness first, what do you require? Then it comes down to speed requirements. What speed requirements have you got? Then all that will push you down another avenue about what you need, and then marry the two. Now that can be a case of it push you down one, but then you have to then retrospec or do something with the lofts of that choice. And if that's the case, then absolutely. But first and foremost, always go forgiveness first, what you need forgiveness wise, what your strike spray consistency is when you're fully warmed up, and then when you're talking about distance requirements after that, and then looks and feel and all this lot. Class Groove says i230 standard lofts. i230 standard lofts being 33 degree lofts are fairly standard traditional. Again, that's Ping's idea of traditional. Mizuno's would be 1 degree weaker than that, but again, that just moves on. I don't think it'll be too much longer potentially before Mizuno either have to then control their lofts when it comes to their Mizuno Pro or something like that, or they move again and their traditional lofts become like Ping's 33 degrees, not 34. Again, that's just the way things work out when it comes to progress, we'll call it. I can remember when it was 30. I can remember 7-irons at 37 degrees when it comes to like traditionally lofted. So yeah, things change an awful lot as time goes on. But yeah. So any other info, any other questions, and I'll happy to answer them. If not, how long is it now? 21:21, so it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And if everyone's happy at 2 hours and 20 minutes, then I will then knock it on the head then. All good, mate. Kieran's had enough of listening to me. Lee says, thanks, pal. Appreciate your advice and contents. Guys, how's the weather there? It's March now, isn't it? Yeah, thank God we got out of February. It's getting better. let's go. I was over at Flemington today and I looked out and I thought for a second the sun was out. I thought. It wasn't, but it was dangerously close to being. And so from that point of view, it's a win. If we can get that, it's a win. What I was going to do, guys, would you guys be interested, before I disappear, would you guys be interested in my idea of the perfect Wilson blend? So I've got Dyna cast, Dyna forged, whatever it is, Dyna power cast, Dyna power forged. I've got the CB and I've also got the blade, as you saw earlier. I was thinking about doing a perfect blend of the, yeah. So Carl says, see you next week, pal, on the members only. Yes, members only next week, as always, guys. So anyone who's still watching, anyone wants to be involved in the weekly live streams, where the weekly live streams with the members, we do go into a bit more detail and information about behind the scenes stuff, obviously, that doesn't go out to every single person on the planet. And so, yeah, if you want to be involved in that one, by all means, go to the homepage on there next to subscribe, which you've already subscribed, hopefully, anyway. Next to it is a join button. If you click on that one, it goes through options of what you'd like. Feel free to have a look. No obligation whatsoever. Tyler says, thanks for... Oh, can't read that because the heart's in the way again. Thanks for hosting. Gotta head out for today. Have a good one. Thanks very much, Tyler, for popping on, and thank you very, very kindly for the kind donation. It really makes a massive difference, so thank you very much. It is very much appreciated. Thanks to everybody. But I'm just reading on the bottom there. I haven't got anything else on there. That's fine. My things are flashing, but that's fine. Look at that. Ted's in the house. That's always good to know. Ted's happy, and he's happy, and he's here. One point I'm gonna have to change my screen because it's now, you can't see it, but it's getting a little bit worn just about here. The problem is when I'm on my mat here, when I'm hitting shots, I have obviously the middle, then I have the outside here, and I have the inside here, and I hit off 3 different parts to just basically wear the mats. Equally, the problem is obviously when I'm hitting shots, after a while I see 3 distinctly, because there's a problem about hitting the same spot every single time, is the fact that you wear a certain track out of the floor and also the screen. And where you'll find a lot of people's wear patterns on their screens are quite wide and quite, mine is like a very small strip because of the strip that I use, well, here, effectively this little bit you can probably see on the ground here that goes from about there to literally about there is the same as it goes from here to about here and a little bit here, mostly 7-irons. So we're talking launching around about the 19 or so degrees. And there you go, there's the wear marks. Any tip for stat questions? Can't say anything about that because obviously that would be giving some fun things away for from stats to strokes. Thanks, Jade. We can see the screen wobble from the warp text. Yes, that's what happens because of that. You need to start hitting more shanks, Jay. Yeah, double cross pulls. I could do that, I suppose, couldn't I? Where you like that, and then what do you reckon? The thing is, I mean, that was actually a pretty good strike, but people actually play like that. And I don't know what my swing speed was there, possibly 80 something miles an hour, and it would go literally nowhere. And that's the importance of making sure you have lessons, because trying to make yourself a little bit more neutral in your delivery will just give you so much more control. Takes away the two-way miss, and also gives you some just free efficiency, much more free efficiency. So Neil said you should find something to strengthen the screen just where you hit without getting too much bounce back, thick felt or something to prevent stretching. That looked like my driver swing. No, your driver swing is much better than that. That was yeah, I've seen some interesting swings in my time. I've seen these ones as well for like irons. That's a classic. So the old, not the hooker, not the slicer, but the kind of someone who's like really rigid and kind of goes that. But the well, I had in my head anyway, Niels, I had in my head that this screen would last a year, and I'll be honest, so far it's lasted 18 months, and it is, yeah, it's starting to sag in certain bits and pieces. I mean, it's still absolutely fine for what I need. I have another screen behind because I bought 2 screens at the time because I went and got them from Carl's place in America. So them shipped over and they're here, but because it's so much easier for me to obviously get 2 than it is 1. So that's sitting behind there. That's like basically just hanging up behind that, up against the back wall. But yeah, that's the whole idea. Looks like, yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it, Jed? I didn't notice that one. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get a little bit more from the inside and hit more, like a little bit more that way. It's I need to move it a few degrees. If I can move it sort of like 1 point something degrees from the inside for a long enough period of time, I can then turn the feeling off and then just go back to 0, 0. It'd be interesting to see what I am. Oh, I've got this, I need to blow my snozzer. Go get my glove. Be interesting to see. Just turn quad on quickly and let's go see what I am. I haven't got my well, I've got this on. So normally when I'm hitting, I'll have, like, if you've noticed, that I'll have that band that goes around my wrist. It just basically stops it from rubbing my skin as I release through the golf ball. I have a tendency to catch my wrist, but there you go. Graham's in the house. Graham Dodsworth, hello. So are the i530s good for 6 handicap senior golfer? Yes, from a point of view of your speed. If you've got decent speed, how fast do you swing, Graham, will be the next one. Again, we could go into what's your angle attack and also what's your dynamic loft delivery, but mainly speed is the biggest thing. And then, of course, if you're a massive de-lofter, then okay, you have to put that into account. But effectively, Graham, what's your swing speed with a 7-iron? So I've just done the 70, 80, and 90 miles an hour tests. Let's see what the path is. So 88.7 miles an hour, path 0.8 from the inside, 0.7 close, so 0.3 on my lie. So 0, 0s, lots of zeros on there. Start, pull 0.7, spin axis 2.3 to the right. I mean, that's a little baby, tiny, tiny baby. Fade, so that's a fade to target, and 88.7 miles an hour, that's me. Not warmed up yet. Slightly low on the face, slightly heely, but I'm talking a few millimeters. 160 yards of carry, yeah, so that will go up to 164, which is my normal when I fully warm up. I hit driver 260 carry, iron 7-iron 180 carry. Okay, but do you know your swing speed? Your swing speed, because obviously depending on what your lofts are for your 7-iron, if you've got a crank set of irons, I mean, I'm hitting my 7-iron here, putt. I normally hit mine 164 yards carry, and I swing at 91 or so miles an hour, like normally warmed up. Yet you give me a Callaway I Smoke 27 degree thing, or a Forge Tech X or something like that, 7-iron still, and I'm carrying not far off 200. So we either have to go, what's your swing speed for a 7-iron? But you're easily going to be fast enough anyway. So I would say, are they good enough? Yes. Just make sure if you are swinging quite quickly, Graham, just make sure they don't go too far. I couldn't use the i530s because they go too far. For one, they produce gapping issues for me because I'd be too fast for them. Long irons, great idea, because again, as long as you get the right loft for your long irons, etc., they'll work brilliantly. But if you're someone who, let's say you're 260 carry, let's say your driver swing speed, say 105, possibly, something like that, for inefficiencies, potential inefficiencies. If they're 100 to 105, you're going to have to swing speed around about the 85, 90 miles an hour, give or take, 85 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, you'll be fine on that one. Even if you deliver fairly well, then you're going to be, that's still flashing, I'll move out of the way. Then you'll be fine. You just got to be careful of the distance, because obviously there is a point of where it just goes too far. They are very, very good. The i530s are really forgiving. They work really well. They launch the golf ball really well. They're one of the most functional at slow speeds that I've ever tested. But still, even at 70 miles an hour, the i530 is not functional. What I would say is not functional. It goes into a green at 38.5 degrees, I think it was, which is, again, not functional. So you're welcome, Graham. No problem whatsoever. That's why I'm here on these open all access live streams. That's better. There you go, 89.3, 1.1 from the inside. There you go. A little bit over drawy, but pretty good. That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get my my swing a degree or so from the inside. The problem is, by moving my path from the inside, and obviously my face will react to that, I am going to be slightly de-lofting the golf club fractionally, although I'm encouraging a very slightly lower spin profile, and my golf ball will be going further. My 164 will be turning into 169s, and so I'll be pushing every single golf club that I'm using probably 1/3 of a golf club further, 1/3 to 1/2 further, which has that effect, but it's fine. But that's the great thing with these, they just feel lovely. When you hit something out the middle there, and that was middle, that was fairly within a few millimeters, wait for the screen to come along. Yeah, that was middle. Within a couple, maybe a 2 millimeters heel, it was middle, but they feel just, yeah, lovely. And that's why, I mean, again, you go to a 2.2, 2.21, a 2.41, feel exactly the same, absolutely, but then they don't look like that because they've got no chrome on them, which again is that massive gripe that I've got with the 2.41s. I might have to then see if I can play with them for a little while. Maybe 2 mil high, slightly towed, 2 mil high, yeah. 1.8 from the inside, 1.2 closed, 89 miles an hour, 165. I mean, that started 0.1 of a degree off to the right from obviously 0, and then the tilt axis on that golf ball is 1.1 degree. You wouldn't even see that draw. It would be basically straight. So that would finish maybe 2 yards left of target. But yeah, but the path, the good thing is on the path there was 1.8 from the inside, so it's working. That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to work it. Now I'm still having to feel like I'm drawing it fractionally, but I'm not feeling like I was earlier on. I mean, normally I used to be able to get 5 from the inside quite easy when I'm doing this. That's me trying to. 4.8, yeah, there you go. So 89 miles an hour still, just still warming up. 4.8 from the inside, so that started 1.8 degrees, 2 degrees to the right hand side, and then had 7.9 degrees of tilt axis left. That was drawing, that was. But look at my attack angle there, look at that, 0.9 down. So we're going from like 4 degrees, 3.5 degrees, 4 degrees down on normal shot. I push path more from the inside, and instantly, because how most 99% of people work their low point and their understanding how their arc works, as soon as you change your path, you change your angle attack, your low point control. Right, Tex-Mex, hello Tex-Mex. Can I play a blade cavity combo set with a 78 miles an hour 7-iron? I always play blades up until 10 years ago. Don't do like short game with hot faces. I can't see the do bit, but yes, you can. Yeah, there's going to be a problem. I would say 78 miles an hour 7-iron with a 34 degree. Obviously, you're going to gain more height and stuff on that one anyway. I would say 6-iron would be your last golf club. I mean, it's 78 miles an hour. What's 78 miles an hour? 76.2. And this is obviously traditionally lofted. How far was that going? This is the only thing I don't like about quad. It takes ages for it to flick over. I need to press the button. Morning thing, it's 130 yards carry, yeah. So a little bit faster. 77.1, slightly better strike, slightly fractionally high in the face if anything, but it was a little bit putty. I swear that said 144 yards. So you can, yeah, you could be doing 145 yards. You could be, again, it takes ages to flick over, stays on one side, 144, there you go, yeah. So you could definitely go 6-iron with this, but then 5-iron I think might be quite interesting. 76.1, pretty good that one. Path 1.1 from the inside, face 0, 3.3 down, and 140 yards carry, yeah. Yeah, so little baby draw, 140 yards carry. So yeah, you're easy, and that's going up well enough, though you could play 6-iron possibly with that one. I wouldn't go to a 5, absolutely not. You'd have to go into a hybrid or something like that if you really wanted to there, Tex. But I would say, yeah, if you want to play either that, or you go to something which is a traditionally lofted cavity design, which has a little fraction more help getting the golf ball up in the air. That will definitely accentuate your 6-iron requirement, but you still wouldn't have enough speed to go into a 5 either way, but whatever you wish for on that one. Carl says, when you get 5, watch Scotty's golf grip. The guy's got a vid of his grip where the left hand is upside down. Okay, yeah. I'll do that. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Right, one last one. Let's see if we can get full speed, and then we'll see how it goes. Oh, terrible. 91 miles an hour, but terrible strike as I warm up. So as a general rule, what I'll do, depends on if I'm filming and I need to basically shock myself into warming up, I'll warm it up with a few golf clubs first, get my body going, and then I'll just try and push it with the irons. How fast can I go? Okay, go a little bit faster. Don't care about strike, just literally hit them and see where they go, and sort of like just give them a whack. There you go, that's a bit better job. 93 miles an hour, so I'm already warmed up if I want to. Doesn't take too many of them. Path 0.3 across, see, doesn't take long. And face, what was that? I don't know, I can't remember because it's now flicked over again. Looming quad. 1.2 open, yeah, so a little baby fade. I think it was 166 carry because of this little baby fade. Yeah, 166 carry. Started off half a degree left and with a tilt axis 2.1. I mean, that's such a small, tiny tilt axis. Guys, for you, a little bit of knowledge before you go, or I go. Tilt axis of a golf ball. So a lot of people see it as backspin and side spin. Don't see it as side spin. There's no such thing as side spin. It's backspin on a tilt axis, how a plane tilts. So if you want to get an understanding of how you need to control the flight of your golf ball, think of it in tilt axis. So if you can get a ball tilting at less than 5 degrees, it is fine. When I say fine, it is like the smallest movement really ever. If like 1 to 2s, there's hardly any movement in the air whatsoever, especially 1s and stuff like that. If you were to hit a shot and by the time you look up at it, it's all in its flight, you will possibly not even see it move in the air. It'd be like a frozen rope. 2 degrees, possibly exactly the same. And at 2 degrees, wind will have the biggest effect on curvature anyway. And anything up to 5 degrees, you've got control of your golf ball. So if you had tilt axis, again, whichever way, draw or fade, left or right hand, it doesn't matter, and you're running at 5 to 10. 5 to 10 is somewhere in the realms of when you ask someone, what kind of shape do you play? And they'll tell you, well, I play a little draw, I play a little fade. They're the 5 to 10s. They're the ones that has that movement in the air, but it's not excessive. Not excessive at all. As soon as you start getting over 10 though, and you start getting into the 12s and the 15s and 17s and stuff like that, that is when you are going to have to be classed as I definitely play a pronounced flight. And so more important than anything else is controlling the face. The face is if you've got a half decent path, functional path, that's your biggest thing. Strike will obviously have a massive effect on tilt axis, it can do, but nowhere near as much as face. Face will have the biggest effect. But if you can control your tilt axis or your golf ball, you'll be able to control its curvature. If you are controlling its curvature, that means you're controlling its distance from a point of view of you're not wasting loads and loads of your flight moving 150 yards in the air, but actually only going 120 because there's so much curvature to it, you can actually get that curvature and then bend it straight, if you know what I mean, pull it straight. That's the whole idea. So yeah, think of it in terms of tilt axis, guys, so you can try and control that. Every single time I hit a shot, I'm trying to think of controlling tilt axis. That was 2.1 degrees to tilt axis. Haven't got my glove on now, so it feels massively different. That's going to be tilt axis off to the right. I reckon that's probably around 4.8. Come on. 3.1. So we used to play the game of guess your tilt axis into a net so you can't see it move. You're trying to guess. This is what I'll do. So we'll do a little bit of fun, and you'll have to trust me on this one because obviously you can't see it, so you'll have to trust me on it. I used to do it when I'm fully warmed up, hit the shot. You used to guess what the face was doing. You had to guess what distance you went. You had to guess what spin rate you were, and you had to guess what tilt axis you applied to the golf ball. And this is uber sad, but what it does, it gives you a very, very finite understanding of what you're doing to the golf ball. But let's see if I can do it. How close I can get. Oh, that's terrible. That's toey anyway. I mean, that, oh, face seemed fairly zero. It's just a bad toe strike. Spin's going to be around about the high fives. Tilt axis, it could be fairly straight because of the toe strike with a, it was just, yeah, difficult. And then about 158. Where's that? 162. So I was 4 yards out. 5.7 spin, not 5.8. So I was close on that one. Yeah, it was very toey. I could see that it was fractionally toey, and then face was fractionally close, but tilt axis was 4.3. So even though it's a very, very poor strike, I still got quite a few of the numbers there because I'm using blades. If I do the same thing with a game improvement iron, I haven't got a clue. Really have not got a clue. Not at all. Right, face was open by 1.8 degrees, possibly. Tilt axis is getting close to a 5. 161. Oh, there you go, 165, 4 yards out again. I didn't do the spin, did I? What was my face then? 1.2, there you go. I could feel it open by a fraction. But then, again, well, we could be doing this all day. That's the whole idea. That's the little game that you can play, especially when you're in a net. Keep your tilt axis under control, and of course then you can control the golf ball. As long as you don't have too much of tilt axis going left, right and centre, that's basically going where you tell the golf ball to go. What else we got? What else we got? Quickly before I go. Craig says, sorry Joe, I found i525 clicky and harsh sounding, so I'm hoping the 530 is soft and more muted. You'll be disappointed, Craig, because it's not. And Andy BT says, i530 for me. Well, I will not be surprised by that when you guys watch the video on Thursday, this Thursday coming, 4 o'clock in the afternoon of the UK variety of time. It is a beast, the i530, to a point of where Ping might as well now dump the G730, of which is absolutely brand new, and dump also, which is the G430, which is not brand new, but the i530 is that good when it comes to its forgiveness. It kind of trounces on the other two. The only reason I would say to go for one or the other would be obviously the G will be the G430 especially. I think it's the cheapest one, and even though Ping's array of golf clubs, there's not a huge difference between price. There's other golf club manufacturers out there which have a much drawn out version of what their cheapest and most expensive golf club are, so that's one good thing with Ping. But the i530 is amazingly good performing, well forgiving golf club. It's just very good. For me, I just don't like the height of the toe. It's not high enough. It looks stubby, looks like too much like a hybrid rather than iron. And then unfortunately for Craig, the sound, it is very clicky. It is very, but it will be. It's got urethane inside it, but do you know what? I mean, I did say on the video that Ping have put urethane inside this. Now, I would have liked them to put a lot more in there, but the fact that they haven't it may have meant if they hadn't have done that, it would have affected the performance in a way which would be detrimental to it. So if you look on balance, you're looking at performance and you're looking at forgiveness, and the only thing you are really kind of having to get rid of is the feel to a certain extent. Some people like feel, some people don't care about it, some people want feely this or feely that, and then you'll be in the middle. There are so many things when it comes to subjectivity. That's what the looks and feel are. When it comes to its raw performance and forgiveness, you just can't fault the new i530. Anyway, so that will be coming on Thursday. Make sure you subscribe, get your bell icon on so you're notified and all that lot. And then you'll be able to see that one. So watch that one obviously first. I do reference the 730 in that one. If you want to watch the 730, by all means, that will also help the channel if you could do that. So thank you. And then I will see all of the members this time next week as such. Next Monday for the members, we have a weekly live stream where we talk about more in depth about the stuff that's going on behind the scenes and the products which are coming out, etc. Obviously, when it comes to open all access live streams, there's only a certain amount of information I'll be going into. So if you want to become a member, make sure you get onto the YouTube homepage. There's a link on there to say join. You click on there, that gives you a list of all the different options and stuff. There's no obligation whatsoever. Just want to have a look through there. And if you want to become a member, you're more than welcome to join the Ask GolfNut community on the Monday Clubhouse. Right, guys, say thank you very much to everybody. My legends, well done, Jay. Thank you very much. Everyone's saying goodbye. See you next week. Please join. Yeah. And Craig saying thanks very much. Right, guys, thank you very much for it. I'll appreciate it. I'll go to the other camera because I can't access the screen and keyboard until I flick over to, moving this one out of the way, this one here. So, guys, thank you very much for involving. It's been a nice one as always. Knight's Head, thank you very much for popping on, and appreciate every single person which has donated and involved themselves in the channel, in the chat and everything today. And remember, guys, don't forget from Stats to Strokes, I've got that episode that came out today, so you've got a couple of days to make sure you get your answers in. And let's see if we can knock Ice Tray 2468 off his perch or her perch, and yeah, so see if we can get the, we're only got 3-point lead, so it won't take too much. We've still got another 45 points to go for it. So Tex, enjoyed it. Thank you very much for that one. Always, for everybody that in grey, don't forget to have a little look at the member side of things and see if you want to join the Ask GolfNut community. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see everybody soon.